This is the Big O Show. 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 This.
So here's the putting green. See? There you go. Got two flags. One is over there where Cutter's Edge Pro. It's not coming out now. Come on. Come on, wind. Give me a little wind. No, unfortunately. But there you go. And this one says Big O here. There you go. So there's my putting green. It's about, I would say about 25 feet, something like that. I get to practice, have a little fun. See? And then, of course, we got, the bunkers. Got to have the bunkers, man. Got all kinds of bunkers there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a taste of our backyard. There's Maiden right there. Maiden. Bono, how you doing, Bono? Bono. He's a Carolina dog, by the way. These dogs are amazing. Their temperaments are awesome. But there is the Sylvester Palm, which is just beautiful. All right, call my guys, Will and Mike at Cutter's Edge Pro. They will take care of you. Dogs are not included, okay? Can't include the dogs. Those are mine. But the exceptional work, oh, baby. Oh, baby. Yes. Make your home an oasis. CuttersEdgePro.com. Go to their Instagram page, by the way, so you can see a lot of the before and after work that they do. And it is exceptional, baby. This thing's been on here for about 9 months. No grass growing through it or anything like that. Right, Bono? Huh? Bono!
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield Home Security System guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayum is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayum, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayum can help.
Attention all property managers, condo associations, and homeowners. Get ready for the event of the year, South Florida's biggest and best condo and HOA expo. And guess who will be there? Cutter's Edge Total Landscape Solutions, bringing their expertise right to you. Visit our arbor display booth and don't miss the chance to witness our skilled team demonstrating proper tree trimming techniques using our state-of-the-art electric saws. Wow. We know the importance of maintaining healthy and beautiful trees, and our experts will be able to answer all your questions and provide valuable tips. So mark your calendars for December 7th from 10 to 4 at the Broward County Convention Center in Fort Lauderdale. Come meet the Cutter's Edge team and discover how we can elevate your property's curb appeal. Come look for Cutter's Edge Total Landscape Solutions at South Florida's biggest and best condo and HOA expo, December 7th. More info at cuttersedgepro.com.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. Welcome aboard. Good morning. It is Friday. You made it. I made it. We all made it. Wow, it's amazing. And we've got the market going, right? The market is open. What do we got? Dow's up 48 points. S&P's down 2 points. NASDAQ barely up. It's a beautiful thing. All right. Okay. Wait a minute. Let me see. I'm actually contacting his Cam. I'm trying to talk to Cam here. All right. Anyway, you got to balance a couple of things going on the program. Anyway, welcome aboard. Oh man, last night was screwed up. God, last night was screwed up. My head was like spinning everywhere. There was so much stuff to watch, right? And obviously I watch a little bit more than the average person because I do this for a living. So I try to absorb as much information coming at me from, all angles and all kinds of different things, not just sports, obviously, because we had two bozos debating yesterday. So all kinds of stuff. But I couldn't really watch the football game. I couldn't focus on the football game because the Heat season has become, I'm proud of this Heat team. I really am, because one of the things that has frustrated me about the NBA in general and especially now this, kind of what's happened in this Jimmy Butler era where they kind of coast, they kind of Lupe fiasco the regular season. They just kick, push, and coast, and they're not doing that. And I'm really happy because last year, one of the reasons that I talked about that your stinking load management crap is the reason why you ended up down in the bottom of the playoff standings. Because if your best player is missing a quarter of your games, you're going to lose a shitload of those games. You know what I'm saying? So that you got to take it more seriously. You were almost out of the playoffs in that Chicago game. There was a moment where you would have never made a run to the finals. And you just overcame that in the fourth quarter to then catapult your season and make the run. And so I'm wondering, do I half-ass this season myself? Like, if you guys aren't going to try, why am I going to be watching and caring like a fan? And the first part of the season, right, was it 1-4, 1-3, 1-4, right? I think it was. And we were all pissed. Jimmy was taking a game off in the third game. We're like, okay, same bullshit. I don't know what happened. I'm not exactly sure what happened after that fifth game and the 1-4. I don't know if there was a team meeting, a come to Jesus. I don't know if there was some kind of an understanding or something. Something happened. Because the same bullshit that they were pulling in the first couple of games, that ended. And now Jimmy plays as much as he can now. Obviously, he had an ankle injury and was out, but now he's playing, and he's playing. He brought it yesterday. Okay, and obviously Jaquez was the story, what he did yesterday. And that's why I couldn't watch the football game, because as much as I love football and basketball, let's be honest, in late November really doesn't matter much. It really doesn't. I'm sorry. I remember bringing on one guy from the NBA because he works also for the NBA on NBA channel, and I remember mentioning to him, well, the regular season, and he lost it because of course he works for the league. I don't feel like saying his name just to. But, it's like, yeah, I get it. You work on the channel that the league owns. I get it, bro. You can't allow me to say that, whatever. And last night, I'm caught up in the game, and I'm actually watching the Panthers too. The good thing is the Panthers absolutely kicked ass. So there was nothing to really be, worried about with the Cats, right? So I was able to focus more on the Heat, and it was a hell of a game. You know what I'm saying? That the Halliburton kid is kind of good, And it was just fun. Duncan had a great game. Jay Rich. How about the story of Jay Rich? Because when the Heat get Jay Rich back, right? And we were kind of excited getting Jay Rich back because he was a good complimentary player for the Heat, right? But he looked like out of place, and he looked kind of old. And he's really not that old or anything, but he just kind of looked slower and didn't look like he was himself. Now you look at Jay Rich, and it looks like he got his legs. And maybe, you know what it is? I almost get the feeling that heat conditioning is different than wherever Jay Rich was at. you know, and it seems like he is now really in like heat shape, and he is, man, he's playing really, really well. That was fun to watch. Really, it was a hell of a game. I was really nervous about that game last night because the Pacers have been playing well. They are a tough nut to crack, dude. And I was like, this is going to be a hell of a challenge for them. And 142 to 132, nothing wrong with, watching 274 points on the board. That's a lot of points. So that was fun. It sucked that Bam got injured yesterday, obviously re-injured that hip. And it's perfect. You got the whole Teron Armstead thing. Well, I want to play. And they're like, yeah. You got to protect Teron from Teron. Right? And if Kendall Lamb is healthy, I'd almost rather just play Kendall Lamb now, and especially in these shitty games for the next couple of weeks. I'd almost rather say, hey, Teron, look, man, you can't stay healthy, dude. We love you. We want you to play. But you know what we're going to do here? Kendall can play really well right now. He can fill in for you. He's a little banged up, but if he can fill in, we're going to use him against Washington. We're going to use him against the Jets. And then we'll get you fresh and see if you can last for Baltimore and Dallas and Buffalo. See if maybe you can help us out in the real tougher games. Let's keep you fresher here. This guy, we need to protect you from you. And same thing here. I think because of Bam re-injuring that hip, I think the Heat is going to have to take a more precautionary approach because Bam will not. And that's, it's what a lot of athletes are like that. A lot of athletes, they care about their team. They care about their teammates. They give a shit about what it looks like in public. All of that kind of stuff. There are people that do care about their jobs and take pride in their jobs, and they will go out there at 60 and 70 and 80% to go play a game when they're not supposed to. And I think at this point, you're going to have to protect Bam from Bam. That's just me. That's what I would do. I would protect Bam from Bam. That's what needs to happen here. And so yesterday when I saw that he re-injured the hip, it's like, yo, man, just keep him out for a few games. I know it's not good because he's so vital to everything you do, but it's such a long season. Why have him carry around that injury longer and get beat up and all that? Give him an extended amount of time to rest so he can get a little bit more healthy. But man. And then Jaime Jaquez. What more can we say about Jaime Jaquez? He is wired the right way. One of the things I talked about is his savviness, his intelligence. And he's the reason why when Bam is out, you're able to win this game. Because it was another guy that was stepping up. And his intelligence is just off the charts, too, on top of all of that. The guy is great playing with the ball, without the ball. He knows how to put himself in positions to score. He knows how to use his body. He knows how to use the hoop. In that one play where he comes under the hoop to then lay it up, he used the net and the hoop to make sure the defender could not get to him in time. All those kind of things, like when you're watching DK Metcalf in one play where he kind of slows and he uses his big body to kind of shield the defender, slow him down to make sure the ball, comes right in here into his basket. But at the same time, he's using his body to shield the guy. Very, very intelligent, because there are receivers out there that still don't know how to use their bodies in order to shield from the defender, or they don't think about it at that moment. Whereas if you watch DK in that moment last night, he did the same thing. And those are little things that when we talk about football players, that's what makes you a better football player than the next guy. You know what I'm saying? Because you understand all the little nuances of everything that you have to do. And obviously, with this kid Jaquez, man, he's fun to watch, dude. And that's the other thing. Not only did I want to watch the Heat game because I've seen the Pacers play, and I said, okay, this is going to be really a tough game for Miami, and I was looking for. And plus, I see Miami giving me the effort as a fan, so I want to make the effort to watch. You know what I'm saying? And so I was really intrigued with what was going to go on with the Heat, and then obviously always, hoping for the Panthers too. So I had the Panthers on one TV, and then I had like the football game on the side on an iPad overall. But it was a good night last night, man. It was fun. And Jaquez, man, that is fantastic. And you're getting Caleb back too. He had 14 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists yesterday. Just, it's nice they're not even healthy yet. Okay. Miami's 11-8. They had a terrible start, the 1-4 start. So if you think about it, they're 10-4 since the 1-4 start. Played some really good basketball, overall, and they're still not fully healthy. Okay. I don't know if you'll ever be fully healthy because Tyler Hero can never stay fully healthy. So if he comes back, I don't know if he's going to stay healthy for the rest of the way. I know this. Let's talk about this. Why don't we? Okay. Because Tyler Hero, the late great Jim Mad Dog Mandich used to say all the time, there's a shoeless man outside the office waiting to take your job. Right? So when somebody would screw around in radio and a producer was late, or so, he would screw around and he would say, young man, there's a shoeless man outside the studio waiting to take your job. And he didn't mean it like in a bad way. He was just kind of indirectly telling you, old school people like myself and him or whatever would tell you straight up, hey, brother, just telling you, just be careful. Don't take it, don't take advantage. Don't assume that this job is yours forever because there's somebody waiting for, there's a shoeless man outside the basketball court. And his name is Jaime Jaquez Jr. Okay. And he also plays defense. He's also a complete basketball player, something that Tyler Hero is not, by the way. He's already more of a complete basketball player than Tyler Hero. And what is proving while Tyler Hero is out, and I don't care about his feelings. This is not a show for feelings. Okay? I think we proved that yesterday, and we prove it constantly here. I'm not here to care about your feelings, dude. I don't care about the feelings. Okay? So if you get in your feelings and all that kind of stuff, I'm not here for it. I'm not a shoulder to cry on. Okay? Toughen up. It's a tough world. Toughen up. So I don't care about his feelings. Tyler Hero needs to go to the bench. Tyler Hero needs to be a spark off the bench. And Jaime Jaquez needs to become a starter on this team. In fact, I would start Jaime, Caleb, Bam, Jimmy, and Lowry. And then I would put Duncan. I know he's starting, but I would put Duncan and Tyler off the bench. That way I get all that firepower off the bench. Okay? That's what I would do. That way I put 4 dogs to start the game, to play defense. And you know what? Kyle Lowry will play a little defense too. He's a pesky little fellow at times. And that would set the tempo. Slow and low, that is the tempo. That's what would set the tempo. Forget the feelings, dude. Gotta do what's right. And the more I watch that guy, the more I know I want to have him on the court. Okay? And let me tell you something. The more I watch that guy, the more I won't worry when Jimmy needs to rest on the bench, and Jaquez will be leading the way. Because that's what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. It is developing right before your eyes. They run offense through Jimmy. They will be running offense through Jaquez. Okay? Because they're already doing it. But they're going to do it a hell of a lot more. Because that's your next Jimmy Butler. Jaime Jaquez Jr. That's the guy that is suited to do exactly what Jimmy does, except he might be a better shooting version of Jimmy. I'm not going to say better version than Jimmy because that's insulting to what Jimmy has done. He's a monster. But what I'm saying is at least he can shoot the three a little better than Jimmy. I know Jimmy's picked it up this year and all that, but, so that's what's happening. Okay? That's what's happening throughout all of this. Let's see how they handle it when he gets back and they worry about somebody's feelings. There's too much of that in this society, worried about somebody's feelings. That's why our society is so soft. Everybody gets into their feelings. All right, let's get to it. Anthony Chiang and our BaptistHealth.net/ortho Miami Heat report.
Heat fans, the fast break is on. It's our Baptist Health of South Florida Heat Report with insider Anthony Chiang. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net. Here's Anthony Chiang.
All right. How you doing, man? You doing good?
Good, Big O. How are you?
Good. I was talking about this before you came on. And you were with us from the get-go. I was supremely pissed, and I think most of the Heat Nation was at the 1-4 start, at the lack of effort, at the lack of giving a shit about the season. And we said, "Oh no, not again." And so if the same 5 games was going on last night, in other words, if the same shit was going on, and you're 11-8, you're 7-5, 7-12, or whatever, some crap like that. Then I'm saying, okay, well, I'm going to watch the football game. I'll watch the Panthers a little bit more. I'll put the Heat game on the side because they don't give a shit about the season. All I did yesterday, I couldn't effing wait for this game because I've watched Indiana, and they're actually good. They're a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
and I knew they would be a pain in the ass when Miami opened up the game. I favored 2.5. I was like, you know what? I'm not even touching it because that's how much respect I had for Indiana. And that's how much I've changed my attitude with the Heat. You know what I mean? And none of you have reported anything. But I got to think something happened after Game 5. That Jimmy took that day off in Game 3 or whatever, and they're 1-4 or something. Because what happened after 1-4 and what we've watched since, it's like a different attitude, a different team. I don't know what happened. I don't know if there was a come to Jesus. I know those people keep everything from you guys. I understand that they're like, breaking that code is almost impossible. But that's how it changed for me. You know what I mean? Like normally, November doesn't mean shit in basketball, dude. It just means nothing. And I was glued to my seat watching that. And obviously, we'll get to Jaquez and everything. But I just want to commend the team for the kind of effort last night. And then Bam goes out, and holy shit, dude. That was great, man. That was just fantastic last night. That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're playing much better than they did the first week of the season. But, again, not to diminish what they're doing, because what they're doing is impressive, and they are a very good team. But the schedule did get softer after that 5-game stretch. They started out on a tough schedule. I mean, they played the Minnesota, Boston, and Milwaukee on the road. It's how
they played.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying the schedule has been softer.
Put it this way.
Yeah.
I don't get mad too much about the Dolphins losing to the Kansas City game and losing the Philly game. I'm fucking furious at the game in Buffalo.
The Buffalo game, yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And that's the difference in all of that. I'm super consistent on that. It's how you played to start the year. you did not play the way you're playing now.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's not a matter of Jaquez getting better and getting in a group. I get
It's
that.
everybody. It's the whole team. Yeah.
But it's the whole dude, Jay Rich looked like he was an
Yeah.
old man in the first 5 games.
Well, remember he had the foot injury. He had the foot injury. He came back. You could tell he wasn't 100%, and he's getting back into form, and he's played very, very well. Yeah, very well. Yeah.
He looks like why we got excited that they brought him back. Put it
on a minimum contract to add to the bench. I mean, that bench, that's what I'm writing about today, is turning in to be a big strength for this team. I think a lot of people, when Eric Spoelstra said this team is deeper than last season, not you and I think you and I both kind of saw it, but a lot of people kind of were like, what? Really? You think that they're deeper than last year after losing Gabe and Max? But you could tell. I mean, it's clear that they are. This is one of the deeper Heat teams in recent memory. I mean, they didn't have Bam and Jimmy off the bench to start the fourth quarter last night, and they begin that fourth quarter. Well, no Bam, no Jimmy, no Tyler on the court to start the fourth quarter.
Right.
Bench unit begins, down 3. They enter the Heat enter the fourth quarter trailing by 3 points. They turn it into a 3-point lead by the time Jimmy comes back in with 7 minutes left, and then the rest is history, obviously. So that's a big difference from last year where they couldn't survive those minutes without Bam or Jimmy on the court. They were terrible in those minutes. They haven't been great in those minutes this year, but they've been able to survive them. And that is a huge difference, especially when you're playing so many close games.
Yeah. And I was just talking about this before you came on. Obviously, Jaquez put on a freaking show. I mean, his IQ is through the roof, dude. He knows how to use his body. He knows how to play without the ball. He puts himself in he's always moving, dude. He just understands the damn game. It is just, and he's fearless of any of the moments. And to me, what's also developing here is I'm watching the guy that's really going to take over for Jimmy when Jimmy needs rest or if Jimmy's injured. That's going to be the guy you're going to run offense through.
Yeah.
That's the guy that really, I know Caleb was kind of working his way to be that guy, but it's kind of interesting that Tyler Hero's been injured. That's opened up the door for Jaquez to show you what he's all about, and maybe he's a better starter than Tyler. And then he's also doing this with Caleb now on the court. He might be proving to be the better option to be kind of the, Jimmy replacement. Okay. I'm not saying he's Jimmy. I'm just saying that you can run the offense through him.
He runs similar things. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, because he's so good at facilitating and seeing everything and then scoring too on top of all of that. Your thoughts on Jaquez and where he's at and what it could develop to?
It's crazy. I think everyone's doesn't want to make the comparison of obviously to Jimmy because Jimmy's a top 10, top 5 player in the NBA, top 5 player in the NBA in the playoffs. But he looks like Jimmy on offense. The way he plays, 3-level scorer. He doesn't depend on the 3-point shot. You can run offense to him in the post. He's good off the ball, like you said. And Jimmy's a really good cutter for a star. Like there aren't many guys who are better off the ball than Jimmy. And that's why I kind of like Jaquez playing off the bench because when Jimmy comes out of the game, you don't really have to change the offense too much if Jaquez is in the court. You can run similar things.
True.
And they don't. And a lot of times when Jimmy's in there, Jaquez is more of a spot-up guy off the ball, which is fine. He's good at that role too. That's what makes him so impressive. He can do both. But when Jimmy's off the court, he has the ball in his hands more. You can run offense to him in the post more. So I kind of like staggering. Doesn't turn the ball over. Yeah.
Doesn't turn it over for a rookie, bro.
Yeah. No,
that's huge.
He always makes the right play. I think that's been and over again. If the shot is there, he can drive past guys. He could post you up. He can hit a spot up 3. If you bring an extra defender at him, he'll make the right pass. He finishes in transition. It's every night. It's like he shows you something different. And to me, to the first month of the season, to the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season, that has been the biggest story by far of this team. The fact that they got one of the top 4 rookies probably in the draft at this point, at the 18th pick. And it's a huge upgrade. That's a guy that we complain about they didn't make a big addition for agency, right, this summer or a trade. I mean, with the way he's playing, he's a guy that would have signed probably in free agency for like close to $20 million a year. So it's the equivalent of a major free agent signing what Jaime is giving you right now.
Well, what's the other guy doing? The kid that was a little bit of a head case that fell in the draft.
With Houston, yeah, I don't think he's doing much. Yeah, you got to always trust the Heat with these draft.
You got it like I did. I got the DMs and the post. The Heat screwed up. What's the kid's name? I'm brain
Whitmore, I believe. Yeah,
Cam
from
Whitmore,
Villanova.
right?
Yeah, Cam Whitmore. Yeah.
It's Heat screwed up. They should have gotten Cam Whitmore. I don't hear any of those people come back.
No.
And it's what I always say on the show all the time. Nobody tracks whatever the hell some of you say. So you guys can go say all the crazy shit because nobody's going to ever try. Now, whatever he writes, whatever I say, you guys are going to come back right away to correct us and tell us we were wrong on something or whatever. But nobody cares. Nobody writes down what you guys say. Nobody remembers what you guys say. So that's why all you idiots that said the Heat should have drafted Cam Whitmore instead and they made a mistake, where are you? Are you manning up now? No, you're not. You're hiding like a coward because that's how it goes. You know what I mean? It's amazing to me. But what Jaquez, I mean, dude, he put on a show yesterday. That dunk, that alley, the whole play.
That was one of the highlights of the season so far, that play. Yeah, that sequence. Yeah, it was. I mean, you got to give the Heat credit, just their scouting department credit, draft evaluators. The last 3 of the last 4 picks have been home runs. You take Bam Adebayo with the 14th pick. He's one of the best two-way players in the league. You take Tyler Hero with the 13th pick. He's one of the better young scorers in the league. And then Jaime Jaquez at 18 last year. It's just they've really hit home runs on 3 of the last 4 picks. The only other one is Precious, who, he didn't live up to the expectations, but he was good in the 1 year with the Heat, and then he ended up. You got Lowry, you put him in a trade, and you got a guy which you can think what you want about Lowry, but he was a valuable piece in that trade.
But Precious has turned into a good player.
Yeah, he's right. I'm just saying he's on the level right now of Tyler and Bam. He's not He's a good role player. Yeah,
right. It's a different kind of player that you need on your. He's a guy you need on your roster, but not. It's different than Bam and Tyler. You are correct. It's not
but also Maxey was on the board then too. So they probably
I've seen Sasha Danilovic. I know what a terrible pick is.
Yeah, it wasn't that. You're right. Yeah.
Well, what was the one that was Shabazz Napier? I know what a terrible pick is. I can't call. Precious was a decent pick, man.
Yeah,
and I could argue, give me Precious here, and he's better.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. Maybe Cam Whitmore is with the Heat, and he's
I have the best coaching staff in the NBA right here in my backyard, so I know Precious has done a solid job there. He'll be even better here.
Maybe Cam Whitmore would be Rookie of the Year right now if he was with the Heat. Who knows? At this point, we can't rule anything out with this coaching staff's track record.
Right, because you find Caleb, you find Duncan Robinson. You know what I mean? And these are undrafted players that you're finding. So some of your undrafted players are better than most people's draft picks. Okay, that's just stupid right there. Okay. That makes no sense whatsoever. What they have done is just absolutely awesome. And yesterday, Jay Rich looked good. Duncan continues to have a monster season. Jaquez put on a show. How about Butler, dude, coming back from that ankle injury? He left it all on the court in late November.
20 free throws. Yeah, 20 free throw attempts. Not a good Pacers defense, but still to come back after that, that ankle injury. We've seen Jimmy play when he's not 100%, and you could tell when he's not 100%.
Right.
The fact that he took 20 free throws and scored 24 points in the second half against a hard, like you said, a tough team to play against because you're running up and down the entire night. That is exhausting. And a lot of guys played well, but Jimmy led the way for that win, especially in the second half. He kind of set the tone there in the third quarter with you just throwing it to him in the post relentlessly. And that slowed the game down and got the Heat, obviously some easy points at the free throw line, some easy points around the basket. Jimmy was that guy last night, especially with Bam out and obviously Tyler out as well.
Yeah, that Halliburton kid's kind of good, huh?
Oh, he's very good. Yeah. I think he should be. I don't know where Indiana's going to finish. I think they're 9-8 right now. But with the way he's playing and his importance to that team, he should be an MVP candidate. I mean, he does a lot for that offense.
You know, it's funny because what I was thinking of also is Spo's comments when you think about that game when he goes, well, you know, you guys think we're trying to slow things. We're actually trying to, you know, speed things up. And boy, you needed that shit last night.
Yeah.
If you were hang with that team, you had to have a you know, fast break type offense. And by the way, that's another good thing. Even without Bam, you could go out there and score 142 points. I know you're not playing against the best defense, but it's not like there's a ton of great defenses in the NBA anyway, as it is. But I love the fact that you have the firepower to score 142 points now. That, you know, a few years back, there were some Heat teams that were
last season.
Yeah, that's true. Last season was hurting for scoring. You know what I'm saying? So kind of like that, bro.
And credit to Kevin Love. He only scored 5 points, I think. But just the rebounds in the fourth quarter, the outlet passes, finding Jimmy for easy baskets, like that was important.
Does Kevin Love know the Patriots need a quarterback?
He's pretty good. I mean, he's a good passer. I mean, he might be. I might tell him. Maybe.
I don't think Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi can make those throws. Bro. I'm just saying. He's throwing a round ball. If you give him a football with laces, are you kidding me? He's going to hit the butthole of a hummingbird 50 yards away with that aim.
The touch on those passes to get it to Jimmy over a defender or two defenders, put it right on target for the easy layup, a couple easy layups in the fourth quarter.
Jaquez tried, but he threw it like Mac.
He threw it too. He threw it too far. Yeah,
right. He threw it like Mac Jones. It just
the thing is, Kevin Love.
He Ryan Tannehilled it. Since we're in Miami, he Ryan Tannehilled it and just threw it right over the entire court. It was like just a little too much there, kid. You know?
Yeah, Kevin Love makes it look easy. It's not that easy.
No. I was sitting there going, wow, I'm actually watching basketball in late November, and I'm like, I don't give a shit about the football.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
It's them, and I commend them for that. I really do. I commend them for that. All right, what do you got going on in the Herald?
Yeah, today I'll be posting. We just spoke about a story on the Heat's bench. The bench has evolved, right? Because the rotation has changed because of the starting line, all the injuries, all the different starting lineups. So there have been different bench rotations. But when that 4-man group of Jaime, Caleb, Jay Rich, and Kevin are together, I mean, they have one of the better benches in the league, I think you could say. There's not much drop-off when the starters come out, and that's a big deal for this team. And then there's another conversation for another day. We don't have to get into it right now, but when Tyler eventually comes back,
bench.
Let's say you do, but either way, let's say you do slide Duncan Robinson to the bench. All of a sudden, they're probably going to extend it to a 10-man rotation, and you have Duncan Robinson playing off the bench. It's just the depth of this roster is really, really impressive, and it is one of the bigger strengths of the team this season.
And to add a caveat to all of that, I think Spo needs to adjust himself a little bit because I know he likes to have tighter rotations, especially into the playoffs.
Yeah,
but keep it more wider now because you are deeper and you can keep guys fresher, bro.
Yep.
I think as the season goes on, what I told you before, I think there are going to be moments where you're going to be able to rest Jimmy because Jaquez is so good. You're going to be able to run shit through him and on lesser teams, and you're going to be able to run some of these lesser teams off the court, and Jimmy will be able to get a little extra rest, and what you could use is the youngin' to kind of run the offense. And I think as Caleb gets healthier, we'll see the same Caleb we used to see, and then all of a sudden Jaquez and Caleb can really feed off each other and run that offense while Jimmy rests a little bit so you can try to keep him fresh. But I think having that expanded roster throughout the regular season, I think is an enormous plus for this Miami team.
Yeah, and as we've seen, Big O, like there's always an injury, unfortunately, for this team. And that has allowed them to survive a lot of these injury issues early on. I mean, you're missing Tyler Hero for most of the first month of the season, who's one of your better players. Bam Adebayo now has missed 3 games plus this half a game, 3.5 games. Jimmy's missed a handful of games. And they've been able to survive it because of the team's depth. They're just – last year that wasn't the case. When Jimmy or Bam missed games, it was really tough for this team to win and score points. And that just hasn't been an issue. so far this year.
Do you have to now protect Bam from Bam? Do you have to now a prolonged rest where, hey, dude, we need you to really just get healthy instead of you trying to fight through this injury and carrying it? Maybe it's time to give him a little bit of extra rest here and protect him from him.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see on the injury report today, but my thought is at this point, after like the in and out the last few weeks because of the same injury, they only have 3 games like in the next 10 days because after Saturday they play Monday. They play Wednesday. So they have 3 days off between that, and then they play Friday, and then they'll play again until the following week. So they have 3 games the next 10 days. It'll be the perfect time to give Bam those 9 or 10 days off. He only misses 3 games, and then bring him back where maybe he doesn't need to re-aggravate it and miss more time. Just get it right instead of the in and out, getting it hit, because it's going to get hit. I mean, we've seen it. It's that contusion. You can pat it all you want, but you're playing basketball. He's playing inside. It's physical. He's going to get hit on the hip, and it's going to happen again. So I would think
know it, bro. And opponents know it. So
exactly.
They're going to run into him on picks and shit like that for, just say, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. You hit me on that side, huh? Yeah.
Right.
Come on, bro. I mean, so get him some rest.
This is the time. It's the perfect time of the schedule to do it. It kind of comes at the right time. So we'll see what they decide to do. Bam doesn't like missing games, but like Eric Spoelstra said last night, he had to tell Bam, like, I'm not putting you back in. I'm taking this out of your hands. You're not playing in the second half. And I think now with all the days off, maybe it's a good time to do that and get Bam right.
All right, follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Chiang and catch his exceptional work there at the Miami Herald. Anthony, as always, excellent conversation. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, can you ask Anthony who's going to fill the 14th spot on the roster?
Well, they have 14 guys right now, but just Drew Smith is hurt. So obviously 15th. Yeah. I mean, do they need a 15th guy at this point? They have so many good. But yes.
Deeper, Anthony. Deeper.
We'll see.
Okay?
I mean, they have options, right? Yeah. They have they.
Is Whitmore available? Did they release him? No? Okay.
No. Well, I mean, they need guard depth, right? Because Drew Smith was guard depth, and they don't have that right now. Kyle gets hurt. Yeah.
I told you they were deeper. They're going to be better. They're going to score more. All that. My only problem is ball handling, and that's where the Drew Smith injury was catastrophic. They need another ball handler.
Yeah. And there's guys in the G League like Jamari Bouye who they could sign to a non-guaranteed deal just to add depth, or there's some veterans out there.
Dude, that we can get later on. Is there somebody out there that we don't know about? We haven't talked about. Is there a former NBA player playing in Europe?
I mean,
that could be an option.
The names that are like that always are thrown around, right? When talking about free agent guard options still available, or Goran, obviously, Kendrick Nunn, John Wall, who we know is always in Miami, George Hill. But it's like
him. Well, he could teach us how to Dougie. That's what I want Wall here. He could teach us how to Dougie.
I mean, I'm sure he would love to play for the Heat. I just think that the Heat right now don't feel the need to do it. I think if there's another injury, they probably will do something. But now with Tyler Hero probably coming back within the next week or so, you're gonna add another ball handler to the mix. It's just they have so many. They're so deep that yes, they only have 14 guys and one of them is out for the season, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels like they have so many different options that they could play. So it's a good problem to have.
Do you remember when John Wall was introduced?
Yes, when he would do the Dougie. Yeah. How could I forget that?
I'll never forget that.
How could I forget that?
I thought it was a super cool open for him. I thought it was a great way to come out, and he did a great Dougie and everything. I go, that's cool. That's cool.
Not many people loved it though, but I agree with you. I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't have a problem with it.
I loved it, bro. That's who he was. He's a showman type of player. So
yeah,
I get all of that. It's cool. It's unfortunate that he had all the injuries, and that's really what ended up derailing his career, But there's no doubt he could play.
Oh yeah, he's talented, super talented.
Yeah, bro. John Wall could play, but unfortunately, when you have bad luck, you can't do anything about that. Anthony, as always, thank you, my brother. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the basketball. We will catch up next week.
Thanks, Big O. Have a good weekend.
You got it, my friend. Thank you, sir. There you go. Anthony Chiang from the Miami Herald. And when we talk about Baptist Health, folks, you don't need to be a professional athlete to go where the pros go. The doctors at Baptist Health Orthopedic Care can see you now. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to request an appointment and get yourself back in the game. And if you have an injury that's keeping you from doing what you love, take charge of your health and get back into the game with the help of the all-pro staff at Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Use that QR code right there, all right? And if you're listening, then just go to baptisthealth.net/ortho.
The Baptist Health of South Florida Miami Heat Report with Anthony Chiang is brought to you by Baptist Health of South Florida. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class health care your family deserves at baptisthealth.net.
All right. You guys like the butthole of a hummingbird 50 yards away, apparently. Okay. All right. Thank you, Drago. Thank you, VLKV. Big O, I heard a rumor about Coach Spo and his wife getting a divorce. Is that true? Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. It's a shame. They got 3 kids, man. As I said yesterday, and I'll say it again, I just hope they put the kids as a priority. As a child from an ugly divorce, ugly divorce, it's the worst thing, bro. The worst thing. I guess that's why I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, now that I think about it. I wanted to be like, come on, can we all get along? I guess that's why I can't stand both parties. Maybe it was my mom and dad that influenced me in that sense. Like, wait a minute, hold on a second. Can't we just does it have to be missiles and guns and firing and and lawsuits and all kinds of stuff? They didn't have any weapons, but you know what I mean? It was just an all-out, drag-out, disgusting war. And, I'll laugh about it now because I'm 57 years old. It was not funny going through it when you're 7 and 8 and 10 years old. And, so that's the only thing. Listen, if you fall out of love, it happens. People sometimes they can't stay together forever. That's all understandable, man. It's sad, but you can't be with somebody you don't love. That's understandable. But if kids are involved, okay, just make sure, man. Trust me, as somebody that went through it, make sure that the kids are the priority and that you don't do all the ugliness in front of them. You know what I'm saying? Don't do any ugliness in front of them. And never badmouth the other in front of the kids. That's just not right, dude. That's just not right, And so, I don't know anything about the relationship. I have no idea. I'm just talking in generality for any of you out there. If you have to get a divorce and you got kids, please try to make it amicable. Do it for the damn kids, please, because they're the ones that just get trashed in this whole thing, dude. They just absolutely get trashed, and you don't. The parent doesn't really realize it, So that's the only thing. But it's sad. Never like seeing that, Enrique Comas, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. Heat will have cap space next year, especially if they move Tyler. They can go after Donovan Mitchell and have a big 4, Bam, Jimmy, Jaquez, and Mitchell. Yeah, I don't know about that one, man. I don't know about that one, to be quite honest with you. Great point. The key ingredient to maintain a championship team is strong bench. Yeah, definitely. And their bench is good, dude. The only thing I worry about with the Heat is point guard. I think they need another point guard just in case. Just in case. Big O, let's see. What a sad week it's been for great political figures to have died. Rosalind Carter, Henry Kissinger, and now Sandra Day O'Connor. Really, I did not know Sandra Day O'Connor passed away. Wow. It's sad all around. That's sad. And it's sad that we have Biden and Trump. And then I'm watching the other 2 clowns yesterday DeSantis and Newsom. Oh, my God. Our country's so screwed with all these idiots. Oh, we're so buried. Anyway. Big O, is there a big age difference with Spo and his? Yes, I believe it's 15, 17 years, something like that. I believe he's in his 50s and she's in her 30s or something. Oh, wait a minute. Spo is 53, his wife 36. There you go. 17 years, yes. Yeah. I don't know if that's the problem or not, dude. You're assuming. I don't know what the problem is. Let's not do that either. Okay? I don't know what the problem is, bro. None of us know what the problem is. They might have just fallen out of love. One of them might have cheated on the other. Oh, one of them got tired of the other. One of them got tired of being married. One of them got tired of the travel schedule and the work. I don't know. There's a shit ton of things that could have happened. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think the age difference, 53 to 36, is that big a deal in that way. Women actually would rather be with older men because we are immature, beings. And so usually a man that's the same age as a woman is probably not as mature as the woman on average. Okay. And so women normally would rather be with an older man. And so they don't mind it. Whereas the reverse is different. That's not something guys will do it, but it's not necessarily a thing. Whereas a lot of women would rather be with somebody a little older because we are such immature beings. So if you're 25, she doesn't mind going out with a 30 or 35-year-old. She'd rather probably go out with a 30, 35-year-old than a 25-year-old. That's her age. That's just kind of, and again, generalities here, not just something there's always outliers to everything. Let's see. It's sad. I don't even know who to vote for anymore. We're screwed either way, dude. It doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? You might be screwed one way more than the other, but we're still screwed either way. The funny part is hearing somebody think that they're actually well off on either one. Like I was talking to somebody last night that thought they were well off with one of them, and I was like laughing my ass off and then pointing out all the 100 things that's wrong with them. So yeah, we're screwed either way. It doesn't matter, dude. That neither party knows how to come up with a good candidate. They just don't. But I'm watching that yesterday, those two clowns. It's like we got the two old farts and now we got the two younger idiots. And it's just garbage all the way around. Watched Hard Knocks from 2012. How far have the Finns come from? Wow, you watched that, Walter? Why would you torture yourself with that? Oh. No. I don't even want to go back there, bro. This is why I keep trying to explain to all of you, this is a completely different franchise. We're headed in the right direction finally. You know? Oh, man. All right. So how we doing in the markets right now? Let's see. For those of you, 66 points is up the Dow. The S&P is down a point, and the NASDAQ still up just barely 0.1 of a point right now. On the crypto side, we got Bitcoin over 38,416. So it's up 2%. Will it hit 39,000? It's like at an all-time high right now in the last 18, 19 months, something like that. So who was first in today on the chat board? Joseph says, I'm first. Hello, Jaime Jaquez. Looks like a home run for the Heat. Yes, it does, Joseph. You are correct, sir. True Fin fan is in. Thank you, sir, for the love. Ricardo Quiles out in Gilbert, Arizona. How far is Gilbert, like from Flagstaff or Phoenix or something like that? A lot of people move in Arizona, man. Steve Chapman, he says, I'm all in on Ertz. It should be 4 o'clock. He clears waivers today, and he'll clear waivers because you're going to have to pick up his 24 salary. So nobody's going to pick him up on the waiver wire. Listen, does the Heat want him? And does he want, the Heat? Does the Dolphins want him? And does he want the Dolphins? Or does he want to go back to Philadelphia? And that's the part that we just don't know. If he wants to go back to Philadelphia, it doesn't matter. But I'm wondering if Mike McDaniel made a call to the agent, right? Because if I'm like Chris Greer and Marvin Allen and Reggie McKenzie, they're all good dudes, right? But they don't have the personality of Mike McDaniel. Okay? Nobody in that stinking building comes close to having the personality of Mike McDaniel. So I would unleash that weapon called Mike McDaniel if I'm Chris Greer and say, here's the agent for Zach Ertz. Give him a ring. And then maybe the agent trips out with him and says, you know what, I'm going to get you connected with Zach so you guys can talk, and I'll let Zach decide because that's his decision. And then Mike McDaniel talks with Zach Ertz, makes him laugh a couple times, and he starts thinking, you know, it's kind of cold in Philadelphia. Maybe I should go to South Florida where it's nice and humid and I can keep myself a little loose here. And I'm playing with a red-hot offense. So it's really all up to Ertz. It has really nothing to do with the Dolphins. And I just threw out that scenario, but I don't know if that scenario will happen. But if it does, I like my chances. Giovanni says, good morning. What a fast-paced game between the Heat and Pacers. Cats rocked it last night. Yeah, man. Last night, the Cats, it was awesome. It was Barkov, Rodriguez, and Verhaeghe all had a goal and an assist. And Bob was a stone yesterday, bro. Kyle Cockrell's in the house. Boss B, One-Eyed Jack. That's right. Hit that like button. Don't forget, if your business wants to be a part of our platform, you want us broadcasting from your business, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. That's our business line. Reach out to us. We would love to have you part of the family. John Padilla is in. Gordon Shumway, Jay Gelfin, J.M. Pearson is out in South Dakota. Damn, that's good. I love it. I love when you guys put where you're watching the show from. Ray Sosa, Horn Dog, time served. Hey, just got word from Miami event staff. I reached out to purpose to put to my Finns fan wife to be. They are bringing us on the field to get on one knee during the Dallas Cowboy game. No better place to propose. That is awesome. That is awesome. Now, does she know about it? Because that's where you got balls, where you know you're going to get a yes. Omar Geiner, Big O and Sean, thank you for the best Dolphins content anywhere. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. I think we provide you the best insight out there anyway. Well, I think we've been doing it on our show for 30 years, actually, to be quite honest. Ray says, everyone, let's keep piling up the wins. Home field advantage is a key in a playoff game. Yeah, man, definitely. Plus, you guys deserve, like I said, you guys deserve good things. And you deserve a home playoff game. Steven Gonzalez will be at that home playoff game. He is a maniac. Oh, this kid Jaquez is special. He's balling. He should be in consideration for Rookie of the Year, man. Awesome. I'm sure he is. Plus, his team wins, unlike Wemby. Drago, Chad, Alex Palenzuela, Comas, Enrique says, Will Manso's interview on ESPN's NBA YT channel, and it's labeled Islanders Highlights, Grade A, Elite Job. Who did he interview? Will's a good dude, man. Lisa Rose, Troy Ortiz, Think Blue Dodgers. He says, wake and bake, Finns Nation. Spark it up. Nyborg, Christian, Palenzuela, De Jesus, Cash the Jeweler. What do you think about the 9.5-point spread this weekend? If you have an app like the Hard Rock app, wherever you're at, if you have live betting, here's what I would do. Okay? I think they'll win by the 9.5, right? I would put a really small wager on the 9.5 because I'm afraid now that the Dolphins are going to run away with this thing from the get-go. But I'd put a really small wager on 9.5. I am not a financial advisor, okay? I want to make sure I stress that every time. You guys got to do your own homework and make your own damn decisions. You're all adults. But I would put like a really small bet at 9.5 and then wait for the live line and pray that that the Commanders I'm just not programmed yet, dude. That the Commanders somehow or another, by some miracle, get the ball to start the game and go down for a field goal or a touchdown, and then the point spread will go down right away, and then I pile on the cash right there. Okay? That's what I would do. That way, the small bet, the 9.5, you don't risk a lot. You win it. Okay, great. But if you're in the game, and if by some chance Washington goes down there and scores early, that'll bring the line down, and then that'll allow you to pile it on. And then, the Dolphins will then light their asses up and finish it up. There's no reason for Washington to even hang with them. So that's how I would handle it. You do whatever you think is right. What up, gang? Big O, have you listened to Daft Punk's release of Random Access Memories without drums? So many nuances. I don't really listen to Daft Punk at all, but I'm going to write it down and I'm going to listen to it. Okay? All right, I wrote it down. I'm going to check it out after the show. Tiger Shark Tony, JS1115, thank you all for chiming in. Yeah, Juan Wick, Gus 1388, Lenny Pena is in, Dalrymple, Juan Wick is himmy. The heat hit on Juan Wick. The kid is a baller. I listened to Big O to eliminate my feelings. Exactly. That's what that other guy's got to do. That Nooner guy or whatever his name was yesterday. Sweet Baby Ray is in. Any chance Ertz saw Hard Knocks and said, screw the Cards. I want to play with the coach on that team. I hope so. Rosendo says, good morning, Big O Nation. May the blessings of the Almighty accompany you on this Friday's adventure and guide your path all day. Amen to that. Tyler just might get Wally pipped. He should. Let's see. True Fin Fence is starting to make me glad we didn't trade for Lillard. This young team is a superstar away from a title. Yeah, I get what you're saying because you would have given up a lot of the depth in the process. You're right. And that was one reason why I wasn't big on giving up that much. And especially, I wanted to keep Jaquez. I said, no, you can give him Jovic, but I'm keeping Jaquez because I loved Jaquez from the get-go. Let's see. What else do we have here on the chat board? Watched Hard Knocks. Oh, God. Kyle Cockrell, can we get to 40K by the end of the year? Oh, God, 40K. We'll be at 40K Bitcoin you're talking about? We'll be at 40K by the end of next week. Mark it down. 40K by next Friday. Okay? 40K by next Friday. Everybody knows now the ETFs are coming on January 10th. That's why they've delayed everybody's ETFs, because they don't want to just approve one first and then somebody gets ahead on the game over everybody else. So what they're going to do, they've made everybody adjust and make sure that they have all the particulars. They, dot the I's, cross all the T's, and make sure that what the SEC recommends is exactly what each one of these ETFs has. That way everybody's equal, and then you just fire it off and you approve it. So you've got a little over a month left before Bitcoin absolutely just explodes. I think the smart people that are investing, people that are not part of BlackRock or ARK Investments or T. Rowe Price or any of these, Fidelity, any of these that are getting the ETFs, anybody that's not involved in that, they're going to look at what's going on and they're going to go, the price of Bitcoin is going to go skyrocket. So other investment firms are going to then tell their clients, you need to start putting Bitcoin part of your portfolio. And you're going to see investment firms all over the world, they're going to go to their clients and say Bitcoin and Ethereum, just like gold or just like oil or just like whatever, they need to be part of your portfolio. You must purchase this. They're going to do it. It's going to happen because they know exactly what is coming. So easily 40,000 by next Friday. That's my prediction. Okay? But in January, that's when the serious pumping starts, dude. Serious pumping. Boss B, thank you for the love on the super chat. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Boss B, Sean, are you still attending the CCW show tomorrow? If so, I'd finally like to meet you in person. You going?
I will be there.
There you go. You guys going to the CCW show? The Sean Allen will be there. Okay? Boss B, don't get too close because he might body slam your ass. He gets pumped up when
Boss B.
Huh?
Don't body slam Boss B. Boss B, good people.
Okay. All right. He likes to practice. So be careful. He gets those, you ever seen those war veterans? They get those flashbacks. I could just think of Cheech and Chong. Strawberry. Anyway, they get those flashbacks. I know some old people right now are like, that's a good one. Anyway, he gets flashbacks. And then he starts throwing people all over the building. So watch out with Sean in a wrestling event. If those flashbacks happen, yell strawberry and run out the building.
That's why I keep Frankie around.
There you go. Only those that watch Cheech and Chong know what the hell I'm talking about. Oh, man. Big O, would you ever run for No. I'm trying to get away from all that. That's why I tell you guys Bitcoin. Get away from these Democrats and Republicans. Go get Bitcoin. They're all destroying our government and our dollar. All of them. It's just one idiot takes turns for 4 years, and the other idiot takes turns for 4 years, and the other idiot takes turns for 4 years. That's all. But some of you will convince yourselves you actually are voting for something good. But go ahead. Holmgren will win Rookie of the Year. Yeah. I don't know, bro. I'm with Christopher Escobedo. I'm going with the Mexican Jesus. I'm going with Triple J. Jaime Jaquez has to be on that first team rookie at the end of the year. Oh, for sure. Who would have ever thought that Adam Driver was this good at b-ball? Is McDaniel on gummies? No, I think he's just sometimes just because somebody's wired differently than you, it doesn't mean they're on something. You know what I'm saying? Don't you have that person that's always super positive and happy and that's who they are. And then you have that person that's grumpy all the time. And you have that guy or that woman that loves to joke around all the time. And you have that other person that's very emotional and all that. We all have different kinds of personalities. And it doesn't mean that any of them are any kind of drugs or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? It's the thing is, just because he kind of sounds like a dude, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that he's high. It's like because he talks like this, everybody started doing the whole vaping thing the problem is, and I mentioned it then, right? All these idiots put it out there, right? Well, last time I checked, when you vape and you inhale, where's the exhale? Smoke just doesn't disappear. I've smoked lots. And when you smoke in, you got to smoke out. So anybody got the video, you're going to wait for the exhale. Oh, there was no exhale. Why? Because there was no vaping going on. But no, that doesn't fit the narrative. The narrative is, was he vaping? So let's just put what kind of looks when he just goes like this, when he's really not vaping. But since it looks like vaping, that's what this society is. It doesn't fit my narrative, so it can't be the truth, even though it is the truth. It's where we're at, unfortunately. Anyways, Big O and Sean, I haven't farted all day. Now I'm worried. I think we're all worried. Yeah, it's very important you release that gas. Oh, do you have a prediction on Chiang this week? Does he play and how many carries? I would say he doesn't play this week. I don't know. I'd hold him out. I'd hold out Teron Armstead. I'd hold out a Chiang. If a Chiang isn't closer to 100%, why am I wasting time with him against Washington? I need to make sure he is really healthy, my friend. Then I'll play him. Just like Teron. I have Kendall Lamb. And I know he's a little banged up. But if Kendall Lamb can play and Teron Armstead's not close to 100%, why am I playing Teron Armstead? Last year, I have no choice because I had nobody. But I think we're all at the point that we trust Kendall Lamb, right? Don't we? I trust Kendall Lamb. So why not just go that way with it? You know what I'm saying? That's what I think you need to do, unfortunately. Anyway. Manny Navarro, by the way, is going to join us at 10:30. We'll have a little fun with Manny. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. No, Manny. Anthony. No. It's Safid Deen will be joining us at the top of the hour. So we'll have a little fun with Safid. Do want to remind you about Sloman's Home Shield, folks. I've been talking about Sloman's here on the show for a couple of years now, and we're in winter. Not us down here in South Florida, but if you're in New York or New Jersey or Virginia or Connecticut, we're in several states. Call 1-800. Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Call 1-866-OIL-DEAL. Okay. Sloman's, yes, they've been doing security for many, many years, many decades now. They've been protecting Americans for 100 years. And the other way they protect you is by heating oil. And you can save yourself hundreds of dollars. Okay. They've got fixed prices. So give them a ring, 866-OIL-DEAL. You know what you're paying monthly for your oil, okay? Well, call Sloman's now, man. They are one of the biggest out there in providing heating oil for Americans in this country. 1-866-OIL-DEAL. Tell them that Big O sent you. They've got a fixed price. Do it now, folks. And you're probably paying more when you can save a little bit. And we're paying more for everything nowadays. Call Sloman's. Save yourself a little money. And if you're looking for a home alarm, my home is protected by Sloman's. Sean Stanley's home is protected by Sloman's. 1-800-ALARM-ME. In fact, Jeff Welt, his home is protected also. He's got a house in the Keys, right? Protected by Sloman's Home Shield, baby. 1-800-ALARM-ME. And we could give you a free doorbell camera if you tell them that Big O sent you, folks. 1-800-ALARM-ME. When you use our professional installation and our low-cost central station monitoring system, you are going to get an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and a backup battery. 1-800-ALARM-ME. Tell them that Big O sent you. Get your free doorbell camera. It is awesome. It'll be your best friend. 1-800-ALARM-ME. Let's see. What's the hurry to bring a game back? Why play Armstead hurt? Miami is more than good enough to hold these guys out till the last 3 games. I'm not worried. I agree. Jay says, speaking of tomorrow, going to see USA versus China, women's national soccer friendly tomorrow afternoon. before meeting you to see Joe Bonamassa. Right. I like it, Jay. We're going to be jamming with the little Joe Bonamassa tomorrow night. Love it. Love it. This is like my fifth time seeing Joe. He's so good. Man, he is good. He is good. A couple of, you know what? Let me give you a little music since you just led me to that. Saturday, you can see Joe Bonamassa at Hard Rock Live. You can catch Pat Travers. All right. So if you're into snorting whiskey, drinking cocaine, you can go see Pat Travers at the Boca Black Box tomorrow. And remember, the Riptide Festival is also going on this weekend. Tuesday, Ann Wilson from Heart is in town at the Parker Playhouse. Wednesday, the University of Miami's own Bruce Hornsby. All right? Because that's the way it is. Things will never change. And he's at the Parker Playhouse. Thursday next week, Bruno Mars is at the Hard Rock Live, and he's also there Friday. So 2 nights for him. Thursday, Outlaws and Artemis Pyle at the Amaturo Theater. Artemis Pyle is the last remaining member of Leonard Skinner left, if I'm correct. Andy Summers, also on Thursday, will be at the Parker Playhouse. So if you want to see the former police stud, you can catch Andy Summers at Parker. And then next Friday, a week from today, Bruno Mars, like I told you, Hard Rock Live, and Three Dog Night at the Sunrise Theater in Fort Pierce. For our friends that are listening a little up north there in the Fort Pierce area. Okay. Now let's go over a little music history. Why don't we? Right? On December 1st in 1968, Janis Joplin made her final appearance with her band, the Big Brother and the Holding Company. In 1971, John Lennon and Yoko Ono released their Vietnam War protest song, Happy Christmas, War is Over. In 99, Nirvana's Chris Novoselic, Soundgarden's Kim Thale, and Punk's Jello Biafra threw a curfew-violating concert in Seattle to protest the World Trade Organization summit. In 2002, Good Charlotte released her second album, The Young and Hopeless, which featured the hit Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. And in 2004, U2's 11th album, How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb, went to #1 on the charts. What a great album that is, too. That is an excellent freaking album. Let's go with birthdays today on December 1st. As I wait for the damn thing to switch. All right, here we go. Oh, let's see. Janelle Monáe, the incredibly beautiful singer, is 38 years old. She's a smoke show and a half. I think she's one of the prettiest women on the planet. Zoe Kravitz, she is 35 years old. And by the way, Janelle Monáe in concert, man, that is a risque concert. She is edgier than I expected, to be quite honest. Sarah Silverman is 53 years old today. Deshaun Jackson is 37. Richard Pryor, born on this date in 1940. Unfortunately, we lost him in 2005. But December 1st is his birthday. Bette Midler, celebrating a birthday today. She is 78. Javi Baez, baseball player, is 31. Chanel Iman, the model, is 33. And that's it. I'm not mentioning all these TikTok stars and all this, bunch of people that I have no idea who the hell they are. But those are your famous birthdays today in entertainment. All right. Let's see, Big O, if you are a Godzilla fan, I love Blue Oyster Cult. Godzilla. There's a new movie that a lot of people are talking about. It's called Godzilla -1. Okay. It's kind of an odd title to it. I've watched some of the Godzilla movies. Like I used to watch all the ones in the past, obviously, but some of the modern day Godzilla ones I've seen, I've been entertained by them. The effects nowadays are just absolutely awesome. But if I don't know, if I'm not doing anything and I run into it, yeah, maybe I'll check it out. Richard Pryor is the GOAT. I don't have a problem with that. You want to tell me Chappelle or Richard Pryor? I don't have a problem with that. So there's a lot of guys that you can, not a lot of guys. There's a few guys you can put in that category of the GOAT, and it's hard to, argue with it. Some of you that you may follow one kind of what's it called, comedian. As a 57-year-old man, I've been able to see all of them, pretty much, all kinds of comedians. And for me, Richard Pryor is, up there. Eddie Murphy, up there, as always. Chappelle, up there. But then I would also put Don Rickles up there. It's a different kind of comedian, but my Lord, was that man awesome. It all depends, but there's a lot of guys that not a lot, but there's a few of those kind of guys that you can put up there. You could say they were just, George Carlin. Again, different kind of comedy, right? And not everybody that will follow Chappelle will follow George Carlin. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is. But if you are open, again, it's about everybody for me, if you're open and you give all kinds of people an opportunity, you're going to find some pretty funny people in the history of comedy. And it's very subjective because it all depends on what kind of comedy you like. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like I'm ever going to put Steve Martin in that category. Like, Steve was funny and it was cool in his time, but his shit will not carry, whereas Richard Pryor's stuff can still carry. You can't listen to Steve Martin stuff anymore and it'll be funny. It won't be funny. Just won't. It's just one of those things. But at that moment, he was fine at that time. It's different. It's a little different. But, yeah. Yes, sir.
Well, I was trying to jump in on the Godzilla -1 before. Do you know what it got on Rotten Tomatoes?
I have no idea. I didn't even know the movie exists.
No, I didn't either. That's why I went to look to make sure there really was a movie.
It's a weird type.
It's got a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow. Okay, let me write it down also. Okay. All right. 90. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's see. Great movies too. Yeah. Richard did have several good movies. Carlin is on another level. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? I have no problem with somebody telling me George Carlin is the best. No problem whatsoever. I have no problem with somebody telling me Richard Pryor is the best or Chappelle is the best. Zero issues with that. Zero. Okay. The only place that I would argue with anybody, okay, is that when it comes to comedy movies, nobody better than Mel Brooks. Then, now, and forever. Okay? When it comes to comedy movies, nobody will ever come close to Mel Brooks. Okay? And he was good. He could do his stand-up also, but not those other guys we talked about. Those are the elite in stand-up. But when it comes to writing comedy, History of the World and Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles and the Producers and High Anxiety and please, bro, it's not even close. Not even close. That's the one that's the GOAT of comedy movies. Okay, the comedian one, very, very subjective, and several of you would have an argument. It's one we would never settle. But Mel Brooks, I have settled it. And there is no other, my brother. There is no other. And by the way, Red Fox was amazing. Amazing. His stand-up is awesome. So, I love it. Spaceballs. There you go. There you go. I love it. Spaceballs is good. Kevin Pollak told a story about how Rickles used to rip De Niro every day when they filmed Casino. De Niro worshiped Rickles, and he knew it and went after him every day. That is awesome. That's awesome. You know what that reminds me of, Gordon? When I get a guy that likes Biden or Trump or something like that, and then I explain to him, you know why, DeSantis is a moron? Do you know why Gavin Newsom's a moron? Do you know why Biden's a moron? Do you know why Trump's a moron? And then I get him squirming. It's kind of the same thing that I do to people all the time. Mel Brooks is, oh my God, it's not even close, dude. Not even close. Forget it. Buster Keaton. Yeah, silent comedy or something, sure, if we're going to go way back, but there's nothing like Mel Brooks. There never will be anything like Mel Brooks. That's for damn sure. Dolphins are favored by 9.5. Washington over and under is 49.5. The Dolphins are minus 455 on the money line, and Washington is plus 350. Why don't we do our 3A Graphics sports calendar, Sean? Because we love Alan Blanco and the great people there at 3A Graphics. And folks, if your company, if your organization, you guys are looking for a custom printing and embroidery, please call 786-618-1443. Heat last night, 142 to 132 over the Pacers. They improved to 11-8. Bam got injured with the hip, did not return. Butler ended up with 36. Jaime Jaquez put on a show, 24 points, 5 rebounds, and a steal. They will have the same Pacers team on Saturday at 8 o'clock. And God, do I hate that schedule that you play the same team. It makes it so much harder. It's really hard to beat a team twice in a row like that. Dallas over Seattle last night in football, 41-35. The Cowboys improved to 9-3. Dak Prescott, 299 yards and 3 touchdowns. Geno Smith, man, played pretty damn good, man. 334 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. DK Metcalf was dominant yesterday. 6 for 134 and 3 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb continues to piss off Steve Smith Sr., 12 receptions, 116 yards, and a touchdown. Panthers last night. The Cats defeated the Canadians on the ice. They kicked their ass 5-1. Cats are 14-7-2, baby. Barkov, Rodriguez, Verhaeghe all had a goal and an assist, and Bobrovsky had 21 saves. Tomorrow, they will take on the Islanders at 6 p.m. Saturday on the CW network, you can catch Notre Dame with a 3-3 record taking on your Lady Canes, number 8 in the country at 5-1. Okay? Wait, I'm sorry. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Men's Saturday at noon, CW. Sunday at noon, it's the Lady Canes against NJIT at the Watsco Center. Lady Canes are 6-0, noon. So if you want to go on Sunday and support Katie Meyer and the ladies, go do it. They're undefeated. Hopefully they will stay that way. I got my UM teams mixed up. So you got the men on Saturday, the women on Sunday. All right. Blazing Saddles is hilarious. I mean, Richard Pryor helped writing the script. Can't go wrong with that. Pryor and Brooks working together. It's just Mel Brooks was on a roll like no other, bro. Young Frankenstein, Spaceballs, High Anxiety, The Producers. Mel Brooks was just at another level, dude. At another level. Let's see. My buddy just sent me a Morrissey concert Friday, January 26th at the Honda Center in Anaheim, and Saturday, January 27th at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles. See, this son of a bitch sends me this because he knows. And see, this is my best friend, Robert. And so he sends me this, right? Because the son of a bitch knows that if I go out west, it has to be multiple concerts because I'm not going out there for just one concert. So he sends me this with Morrissey on a Friday and a Saturday, knowing that I'm going to want to go out there for that, to see that and maybe anything else for a couple of days while I'm out there. This is cruel and unusual punishment on Robert Grieper's behalf here, sending me this. Okay? That is some cruel shit you just did to me there, Griep. That's really cool. I would like to go do that. Bastard. Why did he tell me this? Now I'm going to be thinking about it. Now tonight when I'm sitting there watching TV with the wife, hey, you know, Morrissey's going to be 2 nights out in Los Angeles. Oh, man. Damn. That's not fair. What does the -1 refer to? I have no idea, Troy. Somebody's going to have to explain that to you. I haven't seen it, so I have no idea what the -1 means. I'm doing the show, so I don't know. You're going to have to go do the research while I'm on the show. The soundbite, my Schwartz is bigger than yours. Yes, no doubt. Yes, sir.
Your buddy George Santos.
Oh yeah, did they vote him out already?
The House has voted to expel George Santos.
Oh man, that guy has no shame whatsoever. None. Wow. I've never seen anything more wild than George Santos. By the way, we always like talking about the MVPs of the night. And last night, boy, I got to tell you, if you want to turn your business, your home, your HOA complex, if you want to turn that baby around, you got to call my guys at Cutter's Edge Pro. Okay? Will, Mike, all the great people out there, they know how to get it done. So they are MVPs here in South Florida, taking landscaping to an absolutely elite level. Then why don't we talk about the Cutter's Edge MVP of the night?
Who's last night's MVP? For your complete landscape solutions anywhere in South Florida, there's only one MVP. CuttersEdgePro.com. Here's our CuttersEdgePro.com MVP of the night.
So many directions I can go with last night. You know, I could go with Bob with 21 saves last night. I can go with Barkov, Rodriguez, or Verhage. Each had a goal and an assist. I could go with Duncan Robinson, 4 of 6 from three-point range, ended up with 16 points. I can go with Josh Richardson. So proud of that young man because he looked like, sorry, Josh, you looked like shit the first couple of games. Okay, I just got to be honest. That's what we do on this show. He looked terrible. It looked like, that Jay Rich signing doesn't look too good. And now he has looked fantastic. Yesterday, 8 of 11 shooting. He ends up with 19 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. I can go with the rookie, Jaime Jaquez. 24 points, 5 rebounds, and a steal. Again, that youngin put on a show with his IQ and his effort. Okay? Because I am so impressed with this right here, with that young man. He is a smart player. But I got to go Jimmy Butler, man. I got to go with Old Faithful because he was out with an ankle injury the last couple of games. Bam goes out with the hip injury in the first half. So you're not getting him back. And Jimmy has to, take over like he normally does. And whether he's facilitating, whether he's rebounding, or he's scoring 36 hard-earned points and a shit ton of free throws. Okay. The toughness, the fact that he puts his body on the line all the time, We could get frustrated with the games off, like in that first week of the season. But overall, what he has done here in his 5 years, because this is his 5th year, if I'm correct, it's one of the greatest runs for any Heat player in history. And last night, he proved again why he is the Cutter's Edge MVP of the night.
The MVP of the night is brought to you by CuttersEdgePro.com. Servicing HOAs, condominiums, townhomes, commercial properties, corporate parks, and malls throughout South Florida. CuttersEdgePro.com. Providing South Florida MVP performance every day of the year.
Let's do it. Here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Manny Navarro.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. If you're a Miami sports fan, there's only one store to go to, and that's Canes Wear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on a Big O radio show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All right. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
Feeling good, man. About to get on my flight to Charlotte for the ACC championship game. So another boarding process. We've done this a few times.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. FSU's got to be a little nervous without that quarterback, bro. I mean, that's just, you've worked so hard to put yourself in this position, and I think their backup is banged up too, right? Aren't they dealing with several injuries there? So
yeah, Rodemaker got hit pretty hard in the last game, and I guess it's debatable whether or not he's going to play in this. So you might have to see the freshman Brock Glenn play in this game.
Yeah, dude, that's kind of crazy, man. And it's, listen, man, I'm a UM guy, okay? But it would suck for any school to, you're the best team in the conference by far. You've put yourself in that position. Now you're in position to win the ACC, and your best player is not there to put you over the top. Dude, I mean, that's like the worst luck there is.
Nothing worse this time of year to have major injuries. And, I feel bad. I don't know that Florida State could have won the national title even with Jordan Travis, but they certainly would have been in a better situation having him in there, and who knows what would have happened. But, it's just part of the breaks, man, of college football, and that's why depth is so important.
So Ryan Day's life isn't going as smooth, and here comes Mario poaching. How about that?
The Grinch who stole Christmas. Yeah, man, he's the Grinch. I think there's going to be a couple of guys that could potentially be leaving Ohio State's class and coming to Miami. So, part of the breaks in recruiting, man. Mario and the NIL, I've told you many times, though, Miami's NIL is very strong. I know everybody was nervous about Reese and what happens when Reese's money goes out the door. I think it's pretty obvious that they've got a strong NIL, and it helped them get this kid, Justin Scott, who's one of the best defensive linemen in the country, 5-star kid, legitimate by everybody. So, heck of an athlete. And, every great Miami championship team had some amazing defensive tackles, and that's where it's got to start.
All right. Hey, by the way, tell the goddamn flight attendant we're trying to do an interview here. Okay.
All right, man.
All right.
I'll get him to shut up.
Announcements here while we're doing this interview. Okay. No, seriously, all right. Here. What are we doing about quarterback, bro? What are we hearing here?
Well, I think there's a lot of options available. I like, DJ Uiagalelei, who played at Clemson before and went to Oregon State this past year, is an interesting name to me because he's kind of more of the mobile quarterback that you want to see in this offense. I think, a guy who can do it two ways. He's played enough college football. He's learned how to protect the ball a little bit better. But I think, in the end, Miami's going to end up with an air raid guy, probably a Will Rogers or a Cam Ward, somebody who can, who's in their last year and can come in and step in right away and contribute. Another intriguing name is Dante Moore from UCLA, the 5-star quarterback who basically rode the bench at UCLA this past season. And, people seem to think he might end up at Michigan State, but, it's a long process left to play out, man. I think in the next 2 weeks we'll know.
What about a Tunga Vailoa?
Right. Talia is certainly somebody worth mentioning because he's a guy who's been targeted by the collective and, wouldn't cost a whole lot of money because his brother's here. But he's got to get a waiver for one of those seasons because he's been playing since 2019, played 5 games at Alabama, and would need an extra waiver to be able to get in.
Oh, really? I did not know that. Okay. How is that a difficult process to achieve? Or because of the pandemic, it might be easier to overcome.
It just depends on what the NCAA wants to do, how much they're willing to actually help, and so it'll be an interesting situation to watch going forward. But every case is different. Sometimes the NCAA is more lenient towards certain guys over others. So I just think one way or the other, Miami's going to have to pivot quickly. They can't just sort of throw all their eggs into the Tagovailoa basket and think he's going to get the waiver. You got to get, a guy who's ready to come in and play no matter what. So that may force them into, investing in somebody else.
All right. So from what you've been able to dig up, is there a lead dog in all of this that you think there might be a lead dog? I know it's. I'm sorry.
No, you're not. You're not. I mean, I think Tagovailoa was that guy, and then I think after him, Ward and Rodgers are 2 other viable names. But there's more people that have come on the market. Dante Moore's a guy who I know the coaching staff really, really liked. They made a strong push for. That's okay. Hold on. I'm trying to cross through the aisles here. They made a really strong push for him before. Hold on. I got to put my luggage up. 1 second, brother. This is excellent podcasting right here. Oh,
it's all good. They're freaking out that you're wearing a Giants jersey.
They're freaking out because I'm wearing a Giants jersey.
Yeah,
it's a $10 special, man. It's a $10 special. That's all.
It's like your
Sorry
Chargers.
about that.
It's like your Chargers one.
Exactly. I mean, this is all fantasy football related. Kenny Golladay won me a fantasy championship a few years back before he became a terrible player, and I just I like collecting jerseys of my fantasy guys.
See, there you go, folks. So don't freak out. He's not rooting for the Giants. He hasn't teamed up with Will Manso, okay?
No.
And Steve Goldie Goldstein, because I think Goldie's also a Giants fan, if I'm correct. So, no, he hasn't teamed up with them to join the Giant cause, okay? Relax.
No.
All right, so what's
I'm a big
next
fantasy football guy.
What's the next thing on the radar for Mario and the Canes? What's going to happen with any coaches? Anything there?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you're probably going to see a couple of the, assistant coaches. I don't think any of the coordinators are leaving, but I think you'll probably see, maybe a couple position coaches get switched in and out, just guys that, if Mario can upgrade his staff, he will. He's demoted guys before to analyst type roles so that he can bring in other assistant coaches. So you could see that kind of thing again. I think James Coley, who was once the offensive coordinator here and was on the staff at Texas A&M, he's an excellent recruiter. He has ties to Mario, obviously. That's the kind of guy I think, depending on what happens here in the weeks ahead and what kind of jobs Coley can get, I think he's the kind of guy that, you could see on staff here. So, we'll see. But I don't think there's going to be major changes this offseason. I don't see like 7 or 8 guys leaving like we saw a year ago.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. What do you got going on in the Athletics so folks can check you out, my friend?
Well, I just wrote a big article on how basically Louisville and FSU did the opposite of Clemson, which is, use the transfer portal where Clemson doesn't do it. And how that's basically how they built the 2 teams that are playing in the conference championship game this year. I talked to both coaches, some players, just to ask how they did it because, there's so many different ways to build, championship level teams that can make the playoff. And I think you look across college football, all the best teams still do it the old fashioned way, but they do sprinkle in a few transfers. I think FSU and, Louisville were 2 teams that went aggressive through the transfer portal, which is a different approach. So, sorry about that. So I wrote an article on that, and there's plenty of other stuff in there. I just did a new podcast on my YouTube page for Wide Right on recruiting. So if people want to check that out, there's a ton of recruiting content. I had a friend of mine from Rivals.com join me, Frank Tucker, who's very plugged in here in South Florida on the recruiting scene and 7 on 7. We did a show together. So, that's it. That's new. That's the fresh content.
I like it. I like it. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Safe travels, my friend. We will catch up next week. Have a great weekend.
All right. You too, buddy. Take care.
Sir.
Bye.
There you go. Manny Navarro, baby. Remember, use our code BIG010, whether you're going online at caneswear.com or you're going in person at 2566 South University Drive in Davie, literally next to La Spada. Okay. When is La Spada going to become a sponsor? We're giving them all these plugs. Anyway, right there at Caneswear. Go see my guys out there. They will take care of you. Trust me. And use our code BIGO10 and you will get 10% off.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Attention all property managers, condo associations, and homeowners. Get ready for the event of the year, South Florida's biggest and best condo and HOA expo. And guess who will be there? Cutter's Edge Total Landscape Solutions, bringing their expertise right to you. Visit our arbor display booth and don't miss the chance to witness our skilled team demonstrating proper tree trimming techniques using our state-of-the-art electric saws. We know the importance of maintaining healthy and beautiful trees, and our experts will be able to answer all your questions and provide valuable tips. So mark your calendars for December 7th from 10 to 4 at the Broward County Convention Center in Fort Lauderdale. Come meet the Cutter's Edge team and discover how we can elevate your property's curb appeal. Come look for Cutter's Edge Total Landscape Solutions at South Florida's biggest and best condo and HOA expo, December 7th. More info at cuttersedgepro.com.
Great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. There we go. All right. So you guys are asking me about my concerts. Let's see. What was it, Troy? You asked me on if you think I've spent over under 50K in my lifetime. I think it's over, way over. 1,200 concerts I put there for you. If I would pay $10 just a concert, no shirt, no nothing, that's $12,000. I paid a lot more than $10 for concerts. A lot more. So, yeah, I probably spent in my lifetime over $50,000. I would say easily over $50,000. For sure, man. As many shows as I've been to, yeah, definitely. Big O, if you had to choose one out of all the concerts you've been to, the most memorable, which one and why? U2 Unforgettable Fire, Hollywood Sportatorium. God, it's just hard because I can think of U2 and Oasis in 97 at the Oakland Coliseum. I just saw a show 2 years ago with Metallica, Greta Van Fleet, Cage the Elephant, Van Halen and the Rolling Stones. It's just so many that I would have to think of, and it's hard for me. It's hard. It's hard to just nail one concert and say, this is it. Rock Super Bowl. My God. Metallica, Van Halen, Scorpions, Kingdom Come, and it's in the Orange Bowl. Anybody that went to that concert, you know what I'm talking about. That was an amazing show. That was one of the great shows I've been to. It's hard, man. I don't know if I could really nail just one, because I loved Greta Van Fleet at Red Rocks. I enjoyed the shit out of ELO at Madison Square Garden. It's hard, man. It's hard. It's really hard. Man, it's not going to be one of the greatest concerts I've ever been to. But about 8 months ago, my buddy and I, Greeper, we went down to the culture room and we saw the Winery Dogs. And most of you have no idea who the hell the Winery Dogs is. It's pretty much a super band. And Sheehan and Portnoy and these guys, they put on a freaking show that was out of this world. And they're nothing compared to the things I talked about now. It's just hard, man. It's hard. Motley Crue opening up for Ozzy Osbourne, and at the Hollywood Sportatorium for Speak of the Devil. It's just stupid. A young Bon Jovi opening up for the Scorpions at Hollywood Sportatorium for Love at First Sting tour. Yeah, it's really, really tough for me to just pick one concert and say, oh, that's the concert that stands out for me, because they all have different meanings and different reasons why I'm enjoying the shit out of that concert, So it's hard. It's hard for me to just pick one, really hard, but there's a lot of them in the mix. That's for sure. I mean, the two U2 concerts I saw on the West Coast in 97, one night I saw at the Oakland Coliseum, Oasis in their heyday, right? At their peak there, opening up for U2 in 97. The next day, I traveled down with my wife. We go to the USC stadium, the what's it called? Whatever, where USC, the Coliseum. In the Coliseum, and it's Rage Against the Machine opening up for U2. Back-to-back nights. I could easily say those are two of my best nights ever. But I have so many other. When you've been to so many concerts and you've seen so many different things, it's really hard, dude. Really, 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 really hard to just pick one show. Because there have been some performances that have wowed me. An Eddie Van Halen concert. Give me fair warning. 81 Hollywood Sportatorium. Are you out of here? That's one of the greatest concerts I've ever been to. It's another one. I mean, I could just continue to think about them and they'll come up to me and I'll remember, Van Halen's solo in that concert was just absolutely amazing. And Fair Warning is it's such a great album. It's hard. It's really hard. Really, really hard to just pick one. I mean, I saw the same Van Halen band opening up for the Stones and the Citrus Bowl. It just, I don't know, man. It's hard. It's hard for me to just pick one. Really is. I'd love to, but I can't. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. By the way, Bitcoin is easing closer to 39,000, 38,813. We're about to hit 39K. Hey, here comes 39K. I love it. Load up on that Bitcoin. No matter what you do, load up on that Bitcoin. That's all I'm going to tell you. And remember, you can make a Bitcoin donation on the show at Cash App or Venmo. That's Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. What about which one did you say with what waste of my time and money? Oh, there's lots of them. I told you I walked out on a Lionel Richie concert recently, a couple years back. He can't sing anymore. I've walked out on Whitesnake. I've walked out on Eddie Money, rest in peace. Towards the end, he had lost it, and I got to the concert, and it was like his daughter was carrying him pretty much, and I walked out halfway. Yeah, I won't stay for a concert if they can't perform. I'll leave. And I paid good money for the Lionel Richie tickets, and I walked out of that place. I was like, yo, dude, you're not here to hear me sing your song, bro. He wanted he was late for 45 minutes, and then he can't even sing anymore. You know, Bon Jovi pissed me off too. I left also towards the end of a Bon Jovi concert. There was only a few songs left, but I knew what the set list was, and I was so tired that he kept playing more of the new shit and very little of his old stuff. It was like maybe 6 or 8 classics, and I was like, yo, dude, we know you from the old stuff. We don't know the new stuff. Nobody gives a shit about. You know, some of these bands, they've got to understand that I get you made new music, but bro, if they're not hits, don't play them. People don't want to hear that shit. They want to hear what made you who you are. And I don't care if you're tired of playing it a billion times. The people in the stands may have heard it for the first time. So I've walked out of a few shows. Yeah, there's been shows that if I think that the performer is not doing it, I'm out, bro. I'm out. I screwed up. I paid for the ticket. I lose. That's it. What are you going to do? Let's see. The Sportatorium was such a great place for a teenager to go see a concert. Hot as hell. You could cut the weed smoke with a knife, and Pine's cops back then did nothing unless you punched somebody. Oh yeah. It was, but we grew up in a different era, bro. There might be a fight that breaks out somewhere, and you separate the two, and it's over, and that's it. There ain't no guns. There ain't no craziness. None of that shit that goes on nowadays, dude. That's why cops could be looser nowadays in those days. Because we weren't nothing like these idiots now. It's just the facts, man. Us as kids, we had way more common sense than these morons nowadays. These kids nowadays got their heads up their kudos all the time, dude. They do all kinds of stupid shit. Stuff that you and I would never, ever do. So it's different. That's why we were treated differently back in those days. You know, you could give people breaks because people were actually trying to just have some fun and be decent, not be evil. And that's what we have nowadays. It's like what I was talking about yesterday when South Beach George mentioned to me on Twitter 2 nights ago. He goes, how come all these people are protesting and they always got to end up with violence? How come the Cubans never have any violence? And I was like, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting how it's handled. And things are handled differently nowadays. So, yeah, the Sporta was a great place for us to have some fun and then go home. And that's it. I never got in trouble at the Sporta. Ever. Never had to get in trouble in the Sporta. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a different world, man. We had way more common sense than these kids. Way more common sense. It's not even close. Look at the stupid TikTok challenges that these idiots do. We wouldn't do any of that kind of stuff that would put us in any kind of where we could get hurt. That we had too much common sense for that. Were there outliers? Of course. But was it anything like it is common nowadays? Not even close. No. Yeah. It's a different world, unfortunately. I saw P-Funk once. That was a crazy show. I got high and wasn't even smoking. A guy in front of me unscrewed the tip of his cane and pulled out a big bag of weed. You'll see some crazy stuff at concerts, man. People will do crazy stuff. I remember at a Iron Maiden, it was the Power Slave tour, okay? You guys probably wonder, how the fuck do I remember all this shit? Well, that's because I'm not drunk and all screwed up in all these concerts. I kind of just go enjoy the concert. And so we're standing on chairs because in the Sporto, when you were on the floor and you wanted to see just standing, no, there were people going to be standing on the chairs. So you had to stand on the chairs and all that. And so we're standing on the chairs and we're looking, at Iron Maiden. And there's a guy that was sitting down literally for like 75, 80% of the concert. And all he was doing was throwing up into a big old cup. We just would look back and, yeah, he's still there just throwing up. And the guy never enjoyed the concert. It's like, why would you do that? I don't get that stuff, I remember all stupid little details from concerts from the last 45 years that I've been going to concerts, or 40 years. I'm 57, 12. So, yeah, So it's been pretty much almost 50 years. 40, 8, 7, something like that. It's been a long time. So it's crazy, dude. Crazy. Yeah, the memories of the Sporto. Sporto was one of those places where you can tailgate for a concert. They don't really have that now, except a little bit, but it's not the same, not even close. Out in the Cruzan, whatever it's called now, I think amphitheater, whatever it's called out there in the Palm Beaches, that one. That's the only one that there's a little tailgating, but it's not like the Sporto. The Sporto was open for hours before the concert, and people would be throwing frisbee football and having some fun, or trying to go to the back in the canal and see the Gators. Yeah. Yep. The Sporto was a different place. There's no doubt about that. All right, let's do it. Let's start off hour number 3 with Safid Deen, baby, and our BaptistHealth.net/ortho. Miami Dolphins report.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Let's get the latest from the Aqua and Orange with our Baptist Health of South Florida Miami Dolphins report with USA Today insider Safid Deen. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net. Here's Safid Deen.
All righty, there he is, locked and loaded and ready to go. You feeling good on a Friday?
Yeah, Big O, feeling good on a Friday, man. How you doing?
Can't complain. It's Friday, and I don't have to do anything tomorrow. So I get it off. The Canes are off.
Lucky
I don't
you.
have to Canes post game. Yeah.
Man, all right, cool. I'll be at the U.S. Women's National Team match against China at Inter Miami tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I just checked them out today. They had some media availability, so just getting back in from that. I know Mike's talking right now, probably are going to start real soon, so we'll get our injury updates as we're going along. But what's going on, man?
I think that you should hold out Teron Armstead. It's kind of like you just got to protect Teron from Teron. And I know Kendall Lamb is banged up, but as long as Kendall Lamb can play, I would rather hold out Teron a couple more weeks and try to get him as fresh as possible. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's obviously a logical move for them. The Dolphins have always been very reserved right now this season. They've been very, very careful and very, forward thinking with their injuries. I've said this many times to you already. You don't need to run this week. You need to run next month. You know what I mean?
Right.
You need him for the playoff run. So if he needs another week, give it to him. If he needs 2, give it to him. I thought it was very cool that Teron kind of acknowledged a tweet from Omar saying that he kind of played very sloppily during the Jets game. And Teron quote tweeted it, said, he's right, I did. And, Teron hinted he might play this week, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, no, it's one of those. It kind of reminds me of what happened to Bam last night, and he continues to have the hip issue. It's almost like sometimes you have to protect these guys from themselves because
Definitely.
they feel responsibility to their teammates. They feel like they're letting them down. They feel like they're not doing their job. And I know some people out there think that a lot of these players don't give a shit about what they do, just cashing a check, and that's a load of shit. most of these guys take pride in what they do. They want to be out there. They want to help their teammates. But guys like Tehran and Bam, it's almost like you gotta stop them from themselves because they really aren't doing what's best for themselves. And I will commend the Dolphins. Like lately, they have been doing the right thing and going, more the precautionary there. I think they're going to have to start doing that with Bam since he got banged up last night. Tehran, I love his honesty and his swag and all that, but it's about saving him for those big games, for those big moments, man. I don't really need him for Washington.
No.
They're pass rushers, bro.
Definitely. Look, Tehran brings a calming sense to that offensive line. He's arguably the most experienced. I mean, there's no argument, excuse me. He is the most experienced person on that line. And when he's in there, it just kind of hums at a different tune. You wanted him. He came back in the Chiefs game, and maybe he was a little rusty in that game. There was, maybe a block or two that he missed that I saw from that one. But you want him at 100%. You want him gearing up for that last three stretch, honestly. When you have Cowboys, Ravens, Bills, you want him gearing up for that stretch there where those are the most important games of your season. That's the opportunity to possibly lock up the 1 seed or, at least home field advantage, right? And definitely put Buffalo away as well, too. So, you definitely want him as fully strength as possible. And I would say the same thing about Bam because, look, nobody's played more minutes or ran more on the court than Bam has the last, 2, 3, maybe 4 seasons, maybe, dating back to the bubble. Bam has been a object of durability and playing every night for as much as we've had him here with the Heat. So you got to keep your big pieces, intact. And Bam is definitely one for the Heat, and Tehran is definitely one for the Dolphins.
People have asked me, and it's almost like a joke. Dude, I don't need to break this game down or anything like this. The Dolphins are playing themselves, bro. Just like you were against Carolina. Don't go making mistakes. Don't go turning over the ball. Don't feed a bad team any opportunities. You go out there and play your game. Shouldn't be a game. That's the way I look at it. I'm sorry. It's not that I mean to diss Washington, but they're nowhere not even close to where Miami is right now or where they should be going. So this is all about Miami playing themselves, really, not the Washington Commanders. That's the way I look at it.
I look at it the same way, Big O. This is a week to go get some work done, just like last week was against the Jets. Just like next week will be against the Titans on Monday Night Football. This is an opportunity to get live reps to see what's working on offense, what's not going to work. This is the time where you want to see Mike go for it on short yardage when he hasn't been doing that recent weeks, right? Now's the time where you want to clean up on the interceptions because they have been a little bit frequent lately. Same thing with the fumbles. Like I told you, in the 11 games Dolphins have played this year, 6 of them, Tua's had an interception and a fumble. All right? And a fumble. He's got, I believe, 10 interceptions and 10 fumbles, or maybe 20 total turnovers this season already alone. Yeah, it is way too many. It's time to clean all that stuff up because they got a really tough slate at the back end of the season. And then when you get in the playoffs, these turnovers are not going to help you one bit.
Oh, you're not going anywhere.
Creating turnovers. Yeah.
You're not going anywhere, dude. You will lose in the playoffs if you play like this.
Yeah, it's all about turnover margin. And if you're behind the 8 ball in that, then, consider yourself done.
Yeah. And when you get to playoffs, you're playing against good teams. You just can't do that with good teams. You can get away with the Carolina Panthers. You could get away playing sloppy against the Giants. You can get away with playing sloppy against Washington or New England. But, or the Jets. By the way, you can make mistakes because they don't have an offense. When you get to the playoffs, you're going to pay a price. And that's the one thing. As much as I'm a Tua guy, I love Tua to death. I think he's going to be a stud for this team for years to come. But
me too.
The one bugaboo lately, got to eliminate that shit, dude.
Definitely. And when you look at how the rest of the playoff mix is shaping up, like obviously the Ravens have the best record, Chiefs, Jaguars, Dolphins, right? That's the top 4. The next 3 teams getting into the mix is a real crapshoot. The Steelers are 7-4 right now. Good chance they could probably fall out the mix. The Texans are 6-5 at the 8th seed, could jump up. Cleveland 7-4, likely to come out. Indy, for some reason, with or without Jonathan Taylor, they've been balling with Minshew. And you look at the Broncos; they just won 5 in a row and 6-5. So, who knows if the Bills can get back into the mix? That would be something to see if Buffalo can turn it around and they sneak into the playoff mix. But whoever, it would be something to see. I'm down. Yeah, okay, yeah, definitely for sure. I'm down on the.
That thing is like that's like a boulder going down a hill, and it just keeps adding more and more problems. I don't see the Bills getting out of this funk, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I definitely don't either. They got a tough stretch right here, and the Joe Brady move on offense worked. They played well against the Eagles, but they've got too many tough opponents on. They're 2 behind the 8 ball right now for Buffalo.
And the Dolphins need to kind of be the team that puts the nail on the coffin.
Oh, they will. It's the last game of the season, so they will.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they got to win that one. They got to set maybe this is the moment now, that final month. If you go out and take care of business against the Ravens and the Cowboys and the Bills, then that'll be the moment that we could kind of look at them and say, okay, looks like they crossed that threshold. They're ready now for the playoffs and to make some noise in the playoffs.
As much as we may think that, it won't mean anything, Big O.
Oh, I know, until they do it. I know.
No. Not even until they do it. It won't mean anything because they have to win in the playoffs now.
That's what I'm saying. Until they do it,
yeah. You can win those last 3 games, and if you lose your first game in the playoffs, seasons, we'll talk about that point in the season if it does come. Knock on wood.
3 games, I'm not going to feel good going into the playoffs.
Oh yeah, well, feel good or not feel good, you still have to win when you get in there. And even if the Dolphins were to limp in their way with the rest of the season, I mean, they have enough wins to probably get at least 1 win in the playoffs. You're just hoping them to get the second one.
Well, if Tua's healthy, you better get a win in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. You need Tua to stay healthy. He's going on a really good track right now, and I'll echo something I said to you in the last couple of times we spoke. The Jalen Phillips injury is definitely not a great one for them. He is a premium defensive end in the making, and everybody else on that lineup ate very well because he was in the lineup. So he will be a very, very big part missed, for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Now Fangio's got to do his job, and then great opportunity for Agba because he knows he's not going to be here next year. So this is a great way to showcase his skills, and then maybe he could get himself a contract. And then obviously AVG, he was the best defensive pass rusher for the first month of the season when Jalen was out. So now you're going to get that opportunity. Let's see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Great opportunity for these guys. And what do you think? I saw that Fangio talked about using JPP in the nickel package. How much gas do you think there's left there in that tank?
We're gonna have to see it. We're definitely gonna have to see it. I think JPP was kind of on his last legs in the Bucs run to the Super Bowl, but he was still able to splash and make some plays for them. And he was a part of a loaded defense too. They had Sue at that point. Obviously they had Vita Vea, who was all over the field, all over Patrick Mahomes, and that one. And the back end, I mean, that Tampa defense was really good. And JPP has a big role to fill. He's not going to be Jalen Phillips, not at this point in his career. But he's there to help out Ogben. He's there to help out AVG and provide some depth there. I thought it was interesting that they still want to put Van Ginkel in the middle linebacker role. All right, cool, sure. I think we all know, Van Ginkel's probably better as the edge rusher, outside linebacker, and that's where he's probably a little bit more explosive. So at some point, they're going to have to figure out that linebacker situation. If you're going to keep him there, keep him on the second level because he makes more splash plays on the line.
By the way, McDaniel's saying that he's unsure whether Teron Armstead or Kendall Lamb will be available Sunday, but both will practice today.
I saw also that Javon Holland is they're going to be cautious with him because he hurt both his knees in the Jets game. I mean, that's a big part of your defense. It's the back end.
You're playing one, bro.
You're gonna put Brandon Jones out there?
Yes.
Right with him?
Yes. For this game,
A-Chain coming back too.
What is A-Chain coming back? Are you sure? Or
that's what A-Chain will play Sunday, McDaniel said.
Okay. All right.
So
All right.
that's a good opportunity for him to come back. We'll see what happens with the run game now. Obviously, he's a big 5-game stretch coming up, or well, a couple games left here the rest of the season. But it's a big stretch for A-Chain to kind of get his legs back under him.
What'd you
and
think
we saw how he was at credit. What was that?
What do you think of Christian Wilkins so far? He's working his way to a contract with pass rush, and I saw that Fangio is kind of saying that he thinks the scheme has kind of unleashed him a little bit. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll echo what I said earlier. I think Jalen Phillips coming back has definitely unleashed him a little bit. The sacks have shown up. 2 sacks against the Jets. How much credit do you give him for those? And compared to other teams, it's different. Didn't have a sack against the Raiders or the Chiefs, but leading the team or close to the team lead in sacks. He's making some splash plays. He's getting back there. But now, without Phillips, now is the time for Wilkins to really show up and be that player that we saw in mini camp when he was the best player on the field. All right.
Although he's playing
Wilkins has it in him.
He is facing another bad offensive line, so he should
All
be
right,
able
go get some more. Yeah, he definitely should. Sam Howell's the most sacked quarterback in the NFL, so definitely should be able to pad the stats a little bit more too. But Wilkins has to make some splash plays. He has to continue to. You remember when in training camp when we saw him, he was in the backfield. He was talking shit. He was yelling at everybody who was in his path. He's a great player. He has a lot of energy. He's a motor. His motor is off the charts. And he's got to go secure that contract now. And there's a lot of people looking for contract money season, Big O.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a lot of them.
But it sounds like, and I love if this is right, and I love the way you're sounding about this. It's kind of what we really need to see is Wilkins against Baltimore, Dallas, and Buffalo, and
the playoffs.
Full sacks in those, not against another shitty Jets team that's coming up, a Washington team that can't block, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The Giants, the Carolina Panthers, these bad teams that you're feasting on, you need to see him feast on those bigger games, and then you'll say, okay, he's filling that void that Phillips left, is what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely. He has 6.5 sacks this year. 2 have come against the Jets, and 2 have come against the Panthers.
Right. Yeah.
So that's 4 sacks out of 6.5 against bad teams.
Right.
It's not a good negotiating tool for him.
No, it's not. But I agree with you. Those last games and the playoffs is really where he's going to make his money, because then they're going to say that's the guy we need, the guy that can come through. And
all his sacks come against bad teams, man. Right. Patriots, Giants, and the Patriots twice. He's got 2 sacks on the Patriots this year, 2 sacks on the Panthers, 2 sacks on the Jets.
Right.
You're not going to not paying premium money for that.
Yeah, he doesn't have sacks against the quality opponents, and that's the reason why you're also losing against the quality opponents, because you need to get after these quality opponents. So yeah,
1,000%. Yep.
All right, what are you working on there at USA Today?
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the Dolphins in Washington on Sunday. I'm really looking forward to this 49ers-Eagles game as well, Big O. And like I mentioned earlier, I will be at Inter Miami on Saturday, checking out the U.S. women's team as they make their little climb back up to, World Cup relevance and stuff after last, a couple months ago. It's been really cool kind of being around that team because they are in transition. And, I'm a big fan of the U.S. women's soccer team just because of all the players and all the success. And now this is the new wave kind of going on for them. So I have some stories about them today and tomorrow. And if you haven't, check out It's a Football podcast. Thank goodness my Cowboys prediction was right last night. But it was a little rough for them. That's for sure.
But you won, which in the end, it doesn't matter. You found a way to win. Seattle's not an easy team to play, dude. They're going to fight, bro. And I give Gino a little love, dude. He still plays better than I expect him to play at times.
Yeah, I think Gino hit his ceiling, but it's still a very nice ceiling compared to some other players in the league.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I give him a lot of credit. He fought through all the adversity and being pretty much, casted aside everywhere, and to hang in there and and fight for your dream, that has to be admired by for Gino, man.
Yeah, definitely. For him to have that fulfillment must be amazing for him.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome for him. All right, follow him on Twitter at Safid_Deen and catch his exceptional work there at the USA Today. And of course, catch him again Sunday afternoon, talking a little Dolphins and Commanders. Safid, have a great weekend. We will talk on Sunday afternoon.
See you soon, Big O.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Safid Deen. And we love, of course, Baptist Health. It's like my home away from home. And folks, let me tell you, if you have an injury that's keeping you from doing what you love, take charge of your health and get back into the game with the help of the all-pro staff at Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. We've got locations all throughout South Florida, from the Miami Cancer Institute. We've got the main hospital on 89th and Kendall, which I go to a lot. In Doral, we're at 9500 Northwest 58th Street. In Coral Gables, Doctors Hospital at 5000 University Drive. In Marathon Key, Fisherman's Community, 3301 Overseas Highway. In Homestead at 975 Baptist Way. In Boynton Beach, we've got two locations, Bethesda East and West. And in Boca, we've got Boca Regional, 800 Meadows Road in Boca. Go check it out. BaptistHealth.net/ortho, or use that QR code right there.
The Baptist Health of South Florida Miami Dolphins report with insider Safid Deen is brought to you by Baptist Health of South Florida. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net.
All right. Thank you out there as always. How are we doing? Bitcoin at 39 yet? Nope. 38,749. Almost. Working its way to 39. 40 by next Friday. The buzz will start to build with the ETFs and all that stuff. It's gonna be crazy. So the NFL flexes out the Kansas City, New England game. And Seattle played last night. Seattle and Philly have been slotted in there for Monday Night Football, Week 15. And I got to say something. Thank you, NFL. Thank you very much, because the New England Patriots, just like the Jets and some of these other teams that have had national, and it's almost like you'd like the flexing to start earlier in the year, because, you found out pretty early on that the Jets were going to be useless, and you'd like to flex their sorry asses out of a whole bunch of primetime games that they've already been on. But doing that yesterday was great, because we just don't need to see this anymore. And I get it for you Kansas City fans out there. You've earned the right to be on TV all the damn time because your team is great. But at the moment, you're playing a terrible team, and it's just, there's no competition in that game. It's like New England has zero chance of ever winning that game. You could play that game 100 times. I don't think New England would ever win one of them. The coaching is better on one side. The quarterback is way better on one side. The entire team is better on one side. The entire franchise is better. There's nothing about New England that's desirable anymore. So thank you very much, NFL, for making that change. That was nice. And Von Miller staying in the division, if true, okay, personally, I hope he goes to jail for a really, 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 really long time, okay? Because I can't stand men who hit women, and he hit a pregnant woman, apparently. Dallas police have issued a warrant for his arrest in connection to an alleged assault. They end up arresting him yesterday. He was booked at the DeSoto Regional Jail. His agent did not immediately reply to a request for comment from the USA Today. They're in the bye week, too. So apparently, police was called, to the home where the 34-year-old Pro Bowl pass rusher had been charged with assaulting a pregnant woman after police responded to a call to a condominium complex in the northern part of the city around 11 a.m. on Wednesday. A preliminary investigation determined that Miller and the victim had got into a verbal argument prior to the alleged assault, after which Miller left the scene. The victim was treated for minor injuries, but not transported to a hospital. So there's a follow-up story now where the woman might be downplaying what happened. And this, unfortunately, is the saddest part of what happens with abusive relationships and the women that are involved in it and how they end up taking the abuse and then covering up for the abuse. And it's just one of those things, man. So who knows what truly ended up happening or how it happened. But the fact that he's in this position is sad. If he's guilty, brother, I have no problem. Just throw his ass in jail for a while so he can learn a lesson. A nice long while. If guilty, of course. What a story. Bill Belichick actually should be humiliated on national TV just for one more game. Well, he's getting humiliated every week now. And then the press conferences come. And then the press conferences during the week that then remind him of his incompetence. And they ask him all the time. So this is when you saw him last week, right, with the, oh, no, you've never seen Belichick like that. You could tell that all of this is getting to him. That's the juicy part of this. This is where I'm a big karma guy. You know, if you want to go out hurting people constantly, I'm sure it's going to come back to you. You know, if you want to go out screwing people over, I'm sure it's going to come back to you, you know, at one point or another. And if you're a good person and you do your best to help out people, I'm sure it's also going to come back to you. I think karma does exist, actually. And I think bad karma is what we're seeing now with Bill Belichick. All the shit he's gotten away with, all the crappy way he has treated human beings all over, the arrogance that he's always used at the press conferences, all of that shit is gone, dude. That's why the embarrassment is happening, because now he's constantly being asked questions about stupid things that he's doing. He no longer has Tom Brady there to erase all of his mistakes. So there's a thorough level of embarrassment going on right now for Bill Belichick. It's so embarrassing that he is forced to come back because he needs to clear his name. Now, it's going to be a disaster, and whether it's the Chargers or Washington or whatever other stupid-ass team wants to hire him, I will laugh at your ass. But he's going to come back because he probably still thinks nothing's wrong with what he does. But it's getting to him because he's constantly failing. And that's what stands out for Belichick now. Belichick now is a failure, period. A constant failure in coaching decisions, quarterback decisions, game day decisions, personnel decisions, everything. He's a disaster. He can't make any good decisions. It's gotten so bad, he's become a big player in free agency. Something he never did in the past. He would occasionally dip into free agency, but now, brother, he's using up all the money he can possibly because he continuously screws up. So I am loving every second of Spygate and bad karma and Tuckgate and the Cincinnati Bengals Spygate one and everything else that he's acted like a horse's ass throughout his entire life and treating people like shit. I'm really happy that he is getting, his share now. And he needs to, and it's good because what's happening to Bill Belichick is taking away from his overall credibility and accomplishments, which is pretty sweet karma, because all of a sudden, lots of people are saying, oh, dude, he's just a defensive coordinator. This guy was overrated. This is all Brady. Brady went to Tampa and won a championship. This clown can't do anything. And those are the facts, by the way. Belichick is a clown. It's interesting, right? You go from GOAT to clown. That's where Belichick is. He was the GOAT with Tom Brady. He's now a clown. See, Andy Reid did the best he could with McNabb. Then he went and got what he needed in Kansas City to actually win a title. Right? Mahomes. That's what you needed. But he won in both places. You know, Shula won with Unitas, and he won with Woodstruck, and he won with Greasy, and he won with Marino. Well, what's this loser doing? He's not winning with anybody outside of Brady. He can't accomplish anything without Brady. That's the beauty of what's developed for Bill Belichick here. That after everything he's accomplished, sure, you can go and say he's the GOAT if you want. But then if I tell you, well, so is it more impressive that Joe Gibbs won 3 championships with 3 different quarterbacks and none of them are Hall of Famers? Or is it that Belichick rode Brady to 6 titles? What's more impressive? Or is it more impressive that Andy Reid can run multiple organizations and be successful in both of them? You know, at one point or another, we have to start measuring with other things. You have to start, you can't be. So let's say Spoelstra never makes the playoffs with Wade and, was it not Rasul Butler and all those? Remember the 2 years before the Big Three? So he never makes those playoffs because he did make the playoffs 2 years in a row there. But then you get the Big Three, you win 2 out of 4 titles, and then after that, you don't win anything else. So how's Eric Spoelstra look? How's it look? In 2023, Eric Spoelstra has not done anything outside of the Big Three. Would he still be employed right now? Would you still look at Spo the same way? Because I think he's the best coach in the NBA by miles. By miles. Because what I saw Popovich do with his talent, what else? What else are you doing, Pops? You can't build anything else? You can't do anything else, dude? We gotta start adjusting this GOAT bullshit. You just can't be a GOAT just one way. You just can't. I'm sorry. I can't look at you the same way. You mean you lost your guys and then you never did anything else again, Pops? You can't win shit, dude. You can't get to the playoffs, brother. Eric Spoelstra gets to the playoffs with practically anything that you give him. And I know it sounds crazy, but I'm way more impressed with Eric Spoelstra every day of the week than I ever will be with Greg Popovich. I only saw Greg Popovich have a lot of success with one group of individuals, and that's it. And once they died out, he couldn't do anything else. He can't build another team and another team and another team like Eric Spoelstra. So we got to, this GOAT bullshit. I'm sorry, dude. I have to turn the tables on people. I have to change the definition of GOAT. You got to show me, bro. You got to show me that you can adjust with the times and you can have success all throughout your life. That's what Don Shula did. He didn't win the titles. I get it. He didn't win it every time. He didn't win it with Unitas. He didn't win it with Woodstock and Marino. He won it with the 72 teams. They were the better teams out of all of them, actually. They weren't complete. The Woodstock teams weren't complete. The Marino teams were never complete. The 70s teams were complete. It's kind of why he won. But he still overachieved with others. Where's Popovich's overachieving? Where's Belichick's overachieving? What's he doing? So it's great. You're one of the greats. I'm not giving you the GOAT. You're not the GOAT, bro. You're not the GOAT. Eric Spoelstra is way more a GOAT than Bill Belichick will ever be. It's not even close. I can't be impressed with Belichick and Popovich the way I am with Eric Spoelstra. There's no comparison. None. There's no comparison with Belichick and Joe Gibbs. It's not even close. So there's where karma is beautiful. And it's just bitch slapping Belichick and Popovich all over the place. Hey, you guys had your run, and that's all it was. It was a great run, and you'll get your props, and you'll go to the Hall of Fame, but you ain't no GOAT. You're no GOAT, bro. There's a reason why you're a GOAT. When people come to you, you're always the best. You will play your best. You will succeed. May not be a title all the time, but you'll be succeeding. And that just doesn't happen with Popovich. It just doesn't happen with Belichick. What has Popovich done lately? Let me see. How much have they lost now? Oh, Wemby. He's all the world, and he's going to be the greatest of all time. And now Pop's got his great player back and all that. I thought Duncan and David Robinson started off in much better careers than those guys. Than this guy, by the way. Let me see what the standings say. How bad is it? Oh, they're only the worst team in the Western Conference at 3-15. They've lost 13 in a row now. Yeah, you know that Popovich, bro. He's the GOAT. Yeah, just because he's got the 5 titles with the same people. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. That's what we do now. We lazily give it to somebody that had a run because they had a certain player. But let's not give credit to the people that actually evolve throughout time with different players and different teams and have success. The laziest thing to do is to call Greg Popovich and Bill Belichick the GOATs. It's the laziest thing to do because their careers have an enormous void. They had all their success with the same people. So that tells me you got lucky that you rode the coattails of a group of individuals. But it's not because individuals came in and out of your program and they all had success. Like Jim Larinaga is more impressive because everyone that goes to the University of Miami wins. Everyone that goes to the University of Miami has success, goes to the tournament. That's what's been happening since Jim has been here. Okay? With all kinds of teams. That's GOATness right there. And I know Jim's not considered the GOAT, but that's GOAT material right there. The guy, remember what old people, but young people out there, so you know, Bum Phillips was an former coach in the NFL. Bum Phillips coached the New Orleans Saints and the Oilers, right? If I'm correct, yes. The Oilers and the Saints. When he was with the Saints and Shula beat him once, he said he can beat hisin with yoursin and yoursin with hisin. That's goat shit, dude. That's goat shit right there. When the coach on the other side says, you give him whatever talent, you're going to lose. I can give him my players and I can get his players and he's still going to win. That's GOAT material right there. Anyone I give Eric Spoelstra to, what's going to happen? He's going to be a hell of a player, isn't he? He's going to be way better than he ever was. And if he sucked, he'll become a decent player. Why? Because that's what they do. So karma is kicking Belichick over and over and over and over again right in the ass. And it is a beautiful thing to watch. And maybe, just maybe, we will start to maybe change our definitions of what is a GOAT. Because it certainly is not Bill Belichick or Greg Popovich. Because if we're just going to do titles, that's just lazy. What challenges do the Commanders present? None. Go listen to the Safid Deen interview. And there you go, my man. Phil Jackson is a great coach, but I'll take Pat over him I'll take Pat over him because he could build and coach. That's the difference, right? He didn't build the Lakers. That was Jerry West. But he helped build the Knicks. He didn't have control there. That's why he left. But he helped. And then he built everything in Miami. So I'll take the guy that can coach it all and build it all. That's why Riley is GOAT-like. That's why he developed another GOAT. We're the only organization with two GOATs, actually. Okay? Just so you know, the Heat have two GOATs right there inside their building. The Godfather and Spo. Those are GOATs. Belichick wishes he could do what Spo can do. Okay? He wishes he can do that. So that way he doesn't go, oh, no. Starting Bailey Zappi. Way to go, dude. Without Brady, Belichick is a failed head coach who gets fired from New England just like in Cleveland. Pretty much. Pretty much. Yep. Yeah, Sid Gilman was pretty special. That's very goatish right there. Jaime Jaquez scoring and outside shooting has made people forget about the two key players that Miami lost in free agency, Max Strus and Gabe Vincent. I was never worried about that. That wasn't me. If you listen to the show, I told you this team is better than last year's team. The only concern I have is I think they need another ball handler. That's the only thing that I think they need. But outside of that, scoring-wise and defensively, all of that, I wasn't worried about any of that. They would replace all of that with Strus and Gabe. It was Gabe's ball handling, the only thing that I think the Heat is still missing, by the way. I still think they need another ball handler. But points and defense and team-wise, I didn't think they were going to miss those guys at all. These people know how to find talent and develop it, dude. They're like the offensive line coaches we have now with the Miami Dolphins. These people know how to develop all their offensive linemen. It's freaking amazing. It's GOAT-like. Big O has made a great point on Joe Gibbs. He wins 3 Super Bowls with 3 different QBs. That's hard to beat. I got Bill Walsh, Don Shula. I mean, and none of them are Hall of Famers. You won 3 Super Bowls with 3 QBs that aren't Hall of Famers. Joe Gibbs is the ultimate GOAT in the history of the NFL because he had a system and he interchanged the players and he kept winning. Now he has a racing team and he does the same shit. Joe Gibbs is the GOAT. Okay? I know this is a town of Don Shula, and Shoes is my guy, but Joe Gibbs' accomplishment is the greatest accomplishment by any NFL coach, and it's not even close. It's better than 17-0. Three titles with three guys that aren't Hall of Famers, because your system, you can interchange people because you knew how to do it right, because he dominated at the lines. That's one of the things about those Washington Redskins teams. They dominated at the lines. Yeah. And they might have won more if Dexter Manley didn't have such a drug problem, because that was like a bigger version of Lawrence Taylor. Okay? If anybody remembers, if you're old enough and you remember the start of Dexter Manley's career, once he started with the drugs and everything else, his talent then, started to die, because that's what happens if you're going to be a drug addict. You're not going to be able to balance both. But when he started, it looked like he was going to be the bigger version of Lawrence Taylor. And Lawrence Taylor is the greatest defensive player I have ever seen in my life. I've never seen anybody more intimidating, more unblockable, more unstoppable, more undeterred than Lawrence Taylor. Never seen it in my life. Maybe it's because he was consistently on cocaine. I don't know. Can't explain it. But I will say, never seen anything like it. Dexter Manley looked like he was going to become that. And I don't know what he would have become if he would have stayed straight and clean and all that, and he didn't have all these issues. Brother, those Skins teams were nasty, bro. Nasty. The front office and that coaching staff, wow. Super, 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 super impressive. Crazy shit. Oh, after seeing Triple J now about 20 games, do you think the non-trade for Dane was a blessing in disguise? Well, I wouldn't have given up Jaquez. I only would have given up Jovic. I would not have given up Jaquez. So I don't know. And I said, this is not in the hindsight. I'm not making any shit up. Go listen to the shows. I'm not giving up Jaquez. I give him Jovic, but I'm not giving up Jaquez, because I knew they were going to need Jaquez. Okay, not because I'm some smart guy or anything like that, but I watched all the shit at UCLA. I watched what he did, and I said, this is the guy. They got themselves a steal. And then I watched the little I watched, in the offseason, and it just convinced me even more that this kid. Do not trade him. Jovic, see, he started well in those European, whatever the thing that crap is called. He tailed off. It wasn't that good. People just talked him up because, you got fans out there that do shows and stuff like that. But Jovic wasn't anything in that tournament either. He had a couple of early games, and then he just tailed off as the tournament went on. Jaime is a baller, period. All the time. So, Big O, any chance Chris Brooks? No, not this week. They just opened the window. No. No. I don't think that'll happen, my man. Unfortunately. Let's see. We thank Manny Navarro, Safid Deen, Anthony Chiang for joining us on the program. We thank, of course, the man, the myth, the legend that is Sean Stanley, mastering this entire platform. We thank all of you for tuning in. As always, we will see you on Sunday. All right? Pre-game will start at 11 a.m. We'll get you ready for the 1 p.m. kickoff. Your Dolphins against the Washington Commanders. Got it right? And then, of course, we'll be back for the post-game show, and we'll get it done. We appreciate all of you out there. I hope you all have a great weekend. Please look out and support each other. Very important. Okay? We'll see you on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Same time, same place, same bat channel.